his journey to Wembley. Sitting around 60 miles west of Munich, Krimbach's population is less than 14,000 people. Teams and his school side lifted the national German football trophy in 1987. The sport took the young defender on a whistle-stop tour of South Germany, from Augsburg to Stuttgart and then Ulm. A knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, though. Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart youth setup in 2000, hired by none other than Ralf Rangnick. Under Tuchel's stewardship, the club's under-19s won their league title in 2005. But Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract, feeling Tuchel had an abrasive personality. He went on to manage Augsburg's second team before spending 5 years at the helm at Mainz. He then followed in Jurgen Klopp's footsteps and moved from Mainz to Dortmund. Here, Tuchel secured his first major silverware, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more major trophies came next for Tuchel in just 5 glorious seasons. He won 2 Ligue 1 titles and a pair of domestic cups as PSG boss. At Chelsea, he famously lifted the Champions League as well as a Super Cup and a Club World Cup, and he also bagged a Bundesliga at Bayern Munich. And then, 4 months after leaving Bayern, Tuchel was unveiled as England's new manager.
I always wanted to come back to England. That was my big goal. I have the best memories of the country, of the league and of the players, the attitude towards the game, the attitudes from the supporters.
Well, here's hoping Tuchel can finally drag England over the line at a major tournament.
Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, September the 16th, and it is 4 minutes past 6. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. I know it's not Friday, but alongside me is Ray Parlour. Morning, Ray.
How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, mate. Look,
for a while.
I've only been here nearly 2 years, and it's the first time we've worked together.
No, I think we've done a couple of shows, haven't we?
Yeah,
I think we've done early days. But yeah, Monday and Tuesdays, Jeff, I don't really come out, really.
Do you not?
Well, I don't like I like a Monday. I run to get my car down the pub, usually, Jeff. And then Tuesday and Wednesdays is more golf for me. So Friday towards the end of the week. And it's, I'm sure Monday and Tuesdays are good shows because you're looking back at all the football over the weekend. But Friday's a brilliant show. Everyone's in a good mood, Jeff. Everyone's looking forward to the weekend. So I do like a Friday.
Friday's a great day, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great day.
It's all the best day of the week for me, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know the weekend's coming up.
Yeah. And you've got loads of things to look forward to, you know, especially the football. So pleased it's back. As much as international break is very important for Tuchel going forward for the World Cup, you do miss the Premier League and the EFL. And I know the EFL carries on.
Boring as bat. An international break, seriously.
Absolutely. So I'm pleased the Premier League's back and looking forward to another good week of football.
What are you made of the Arsenal so far then?
I think it's not been a bad start. I mean, the Liverpool game of losing that game, but that could have gone either way. It looked like both teams were a little bit worried about each other. It wasn't a great game. I think both teams were under par, if I'm being honest, on the day, and it was a special goal to win it. for Liverpool's point of view. So, look, it's going to be tight, but Liverpool got a big result of the weekend again, didn't they? I mean, they know how to get over the line.
Yeah, they did.
They pushed them, and Burnley done so well to defend as much as they did, but last-minute penalty and unbeaten at the moment. So they're the ones to beat this year, I'm sure.
What do you made of Victor Gyökeres so far?
Well, I've done a TV on Saturday with Alan Shearer, and obviously one of the best strikers ever to play in the Premier League and Premiership. And he just said the movement in the first half wasn't good enough. I mean, he kept coming to the ball too much, where he's just got to play the box, if you like, which Arsenal probably haven't had for 2 or 3 years. And then early in the second half, what the problem he got, he's got to learn how to read his teammates, really, because you know what it's like. David Beckham was the best at it. If you was a striker, you knew exactly when the ball's coming into the box. As soon as he got it out of his right foot, you know the ball's going to be swinging in, and that's when you can make your runs as a striker. At times, Madueke had a really good game on that right-hand side, but he has 1, 2, 3 touches, and it's hard for a striker to make their runs because you don't know when the ball's coming into the box.
You've made your run and got to
exactly,
stop,
and then you've got to do it again. But he's just got to learn when he thinks the players are going to make the crosses in, and sometimes the players have got to get the ball in a bit quicker. But he's got 3 goals so far, so he's got to stay fit and. He's done okay. That's all I can say. But I think he's still learning to play with his teammates.
I thought second half against Forest, he began to look.
Absolutely. It was a really good goal as well. I mean, long ball from the back, Calafori over the top. Eze now. Early part, he let it bounce, great ball crossed, and there he was. That's where he's got to work, where he scores that goal. That 6-yard box. All around that ball. He'll score your headers as well. So look, I'm really excited that hopefully he can have a really, really, really good season and score the goals that Arsenal need.
Before we get stuck into other things, I've got a great, not great text. It's a really interesting text here. I mean, how's it look if you're a Crystal Palace supporter? You've lost Eze. Obviously, you've lost your place in the Europa League, but you're in the Europa Conference League. But listen to this. Andrew Collins is a Palace season ticket holder from Parlour. He says, after all the issues of our European qualification, we now have a new situation that's arisen. I, along with 1,200 Palace fans, have booked flights and hotels for our first away Europa Conference game against Dynamo Kiev. Obviously, this match is not taking place in Kiev due to the issues in Ukraine. So UEFA agreed all Kiev home matches would take place in the neutral venue of the beautiful Polish city of Lublin. But due to the issues with Russian drones in Polish airspace in the last week on the Polish border, and the RAF reportedly being about to deploy support to Poland, the affected area for all of this, where the airspace is closed, Lublin is the closest city. So this match is due to take place in 2 weeks' time, but so far, no match tickets have gone on sale, and all Palace fans due to fly out 2 weeks tomorrow have been left in limbo once again. This is a big UEFA group match, but we are being told nothing about what is going to happen. And it's an interesting point, goodness knows. I mean, it's a very difficult situation, isn't it?
It is a difficult situation.
Can't fly people out there if it's deemed to be a dangerous area. But
you want to be safe, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
how's your luck if you're a Palace fan?
Oh, well, first year in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
and they're going to have a great time, I'm sure. But this is...
Well, if they get there.
Well,
eventually.
Yeah. I mean, they will eventually get there. Yeah. But whether it's going to be played, we don't know. But, I'm sure that they're going to have a good following away from home. Some great cities they'll be going to, and they deserve it. They deserve to be in the Europa League, if I'm being honest. But they're in the European... We've seen Chelsea win it. We've seen West Ham win it. And the fans have a great time. So I'm sure Palace will be exactly the same.
Yeah, they've got to think, well, we can win this.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we'll be in the Europa League.
There'll be a lot more chance of winning that they had to the Europa League.
Completely.
So they could get to the final, definitely.
Yeah. And of course, Champions League back tonight. One team who won't be in it is Manchester United. But the man over most of the back pages this morning is still Ruben Amorim.
This is diabolical from Man United.
The fact morale at Old Trafford amongst the staff has never been so low.
If we didn't score that last gasp penalty against Burnley, which is our only win this season in all competitions, and if we lose to Chelsea at the weekend, which I expect us to do so, we will be in the relegation zone.
I think he's trapped in that Sporting Lisbon success. This is how I'm going to implement this here.
I don't see the system as you guys see the system, so I will try to do my best.
I don't understand what you're watching at times from a mighty club like Manchester United. It's shocking.
He's the worst start in the league since 1992-93 season. He hasn't won 2 games in a row yet.
To some extent, the manager has to take a huge amount of responsibility for sitting in a place where you've made things worse.
Sometimes we are a little bit naive in the approach that we have, but I saw some games that sometimes we can run faster, but they try.
Factually, the worst manager that Manchester United have had.
Amorim sticking to his style at all costs has made United even worse.
But Old Trafford is fast becoming the theatre of broken dreams.
Ruben Amorim, of course, we all know, we've seen the stat. 8 wins in 31 league games. Back page of the Times today, though. The headline is Portuguese step up the bid for Amorim. Benfica are reportedly keeping an eye on the situation at United. It's not absolutely imminent because it depends on a change, I think, in presidency or chairmanship or something like that. And in some respects, I guess, he'd be looking to bite their hand off or return to Portugal. But as the ex-Sporting manager, going to Benfica, that would be a bit like a move from Arsenal to Tottenham.
Yeah, it would be.
Can you do that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of managers have done that to their local rivals. But, yeah, he just looks a little bit lost at the moment. I mean, Man City were far the better team at the weekend. Look, a lot of people were expecting Man City to win at home anyway. But it's just that, it's a derby and you expect a little bit more. It's been another awful start for the season. And I think the Man United fans now are getting fed up with it all. And what happens, we'll have to wait and see whether he wants to get out as well. He doesn't look a happy man at the moment.
He doesn't.
He looks like he's got the world on his shoulders. And is it going to get better? That's the big question. I don't think it is at the moment.
I don't know how he wins the fans back over. I think they'd probably have to win 4 or 5 on the bounce.
Yeah, they do.
It's hard to see that happening.
Yeah, well, they do. They need to win at least 3 on the bounce to get them back into a decent position. But it's just, I don't know what the system is and what they're trying to achieve. And as I said before, it pans on the bench, and he just looks a little bit lost for me. And whether it's too big for him, I don't know. The job, it is a massive job. Everybody knows that when Sir Alex left, there's been a door opening every couple of seasons for another manager. They can't seem to get it right there. So recruitment is very, very important. They spent money. They spent quite a bit of money during the. They got Kun Ewing and Burmo, so they spent some decent money, but it just don't seem to be clicking at the moment.
No.
And whether it's the manager, whether the players are not having the manager, I don't know. As soon as the players are not doing it for the manager, then you've got a massive problem. Yeah, because the players are more powerful than the managers. There, my era when I first started, the manager was always the most powerful man. Jules Graham and Arsenal, Sir Alex Ferguson at Man United. But now it seems the players are more powerful than the manager.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the transfer window.
Absolutely.
More powerful than the clubs, really, aren't they? Jill's texted, "Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ray. This is a great duo. Does Ali know?"
Well, Ali be on commentary duties, and he's very good at commentary, isn't he?
Yeah.
You two are brilliant in the morning.
He's absolutely brilliant. Well, he's off to Bilbao, isn't he?
Oh, beautiful.
So
he'll be getting around this week.
Yeah, he'll be sleeping off.
He is probably one of the hardest working men I know. Ali, he's always on the TV. He's always doing commentary here, commentary there.
Well, this week he's in Bilbao tonight, then he's in Liverpool tomorrow night, then he's in Newcastle on Thursday night. He's doing a Premier League game on Saturday, which I assume is going to be the Merseyside derby. So,
but how exciting, Jeff! If you like football, which Ali does, he loves football. That the one I'd be looking forward to the most out of those games you just mentioned, it's got to be Newcastle. St James's Park, Barcelona going into town. Under the floodlights, it'd be absolutely rocking at St James's Park. I was with Alan Shearer on Saturday, and he said, "I've got to go to America on Thursday." I'm absolutely devastated. I'm going to miss Newcastle with Barcelona, but that's going to be a hell of a night. I'll definitely be tuning into that one.
Yeah. Air Miles Ali, we call him. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back pages and some bold claims from David Raya ahead of Arsenal's Champions League campaign getting underway.
don't really want to know how your garden grows, 'cause I just want to fly.
Good morning, 19 minutes past 6 o'clock, Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ray Parlour, and the countdown is on. Your chance coming up to win £25,000 and tickets to see Oasis at Wembley on Saturday, the 27th of September. This Friday, we'll be calling 2 lucky listeners on air. They'll go head-to-head to win the cash. They'll both get the tickets, but only one will walk away with 25 grand. Listen up. Here's how you can enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And the very best of luck to you, Ray. A lot of love out there for you this morning. Paul's texted and said, great to hear both this morning. We don't hear Ray on talkSPORT enough. More days off than Father Christmas. Always a great listen.
No, I don't get asked to do it, Jeff. It's not days off. I've been bombed out. I'm in the old bomb squad now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm super sub now.
If you're in the bomb squad, it must be. I must be as well. But there we go. Now let's take a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle selling clothes? Save in style with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big 3 networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
And Olivia is back with us. Morning, Olivia.
Morning, Olivia.
How are you both?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Please tell me it's not Man United on the back page. The reason I say that is RP says talkSPORT's like a broken record, same old Manchester United story and how rubbish they are. Give it a rest and talk about all football. We've already talked about Arsenal and Crystal Palace, and Manchester United have barely crossed our lips yet.
I mean, they are dominating the back pages.
Exactly.
But that's not what I'm here to talk about.
Oh, right.
I'm here to talk about Chelsea. No, I'm joking. I'm not here to talk about... I'm here to talk about Arsenal, Ray.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. Okay. Because, obviously, United are mainly... It's all about Ruben Amorim. However, on the back page of The Sun, we've got David Raya saying, we have depth for Euro glory. David Raya says Arsenal finally have the squad to deliver European glory. How do I feel about this? I think Arsenal are definitely better equipped in terms of the squad. I think the one thing Arsenal lacked last season, Ray, was squad depth in the key areas. And I think actually when you look at Arsenal signings this season, they have actually strengthened in all the positions they needed to. However, winning the Champions League is so difficult. Do you think the signings... I personally don't think Arsenal are going to win the Champions League this season. However, do you think the signings that Arsenal have made, can they win the Champions League?
Of course they can. I mean, they got to semi-final last year. Very unlucky. They blew it probably at home, losing 1-0 to PSG. They had their chances in the second leg. I think Donnarumma was unbelievable in both games, the goalkeeper. Now he's at Man City. But look, they have strengthened their squad. He's been well backed, Mikel Arteta. I don't think he's have any complaints from the owners to say, look, you know, we need to spend more money. We need to get a bigger squad. He's certainly got that. Zubimendi's been a good sign. I know he got his 2 goals, but he's not there to score goals. He's there to break it up after losing Thomas Partey. Yeah. He's brought 2 centre-halves in who's going to be cover probably for Gabriel and Saliba. I know Saliba's out at the moment. Gyökeres was the one. Eze was a great signing. I think he's going to have a really good Arsenal career now. Norgard is another one who can come in. He's experienced. He knows the Premier League when you have to change it. So he has bought a lot of good players, but again, you need a little bit of luck in winning trophies. I don't think you need a lot of luck in winning the league because it's the best team, the most consistent team, would always come out on top. But certainly with the cup competitions, you've got to have you might have certain key players injured at the key areas of the Champions League season. I think the first stage is going to be pretty straightforward for a lot of the English clubs, if I'm being honest with you, during the league. Hopefully we can get as many through as we can. Then it all comes down to knockout stages. That's when you're going to really have to step up. But they've already had a couple of injuries already, haven't they?
Yeah,
There's so many injuries.
They have, but look at the weekend. I mean, I've just looked at it now, okay? Obviously, at the moment, no Saliba. Though he could be back apparently this week.
Mosquera's a decent player.
He's back in training. He's looked
very
really
good
talented. But no Saka either.
No.
And yet the bench in the game against Nottingham Forest was absolutely astonishing. Right from Kepa in goal, Ben White, Hincapié, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli, Trossard, Nwaneri, Rice, Dowman. I mean, that is a phenomenal bench of players who would get into most sides.
Absolutely. So look, they have got depth, but I'm never going to sit here and say they're going to win the league and they're going to win because it's a long, hard season. But all I'll say is they've got a very good squad of players to. If they do win it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
They'll get further than Chelsea anyway.
I do think I might agree.
No. I heard you this morning. Chelsea are going to win it this year. They're going to do it.
We always have a better chance. We're a better knockout team than we are consistently in the league.
Yeah.
I'd love a star number 3, but I don't think.
Well,
we've got some time.
I'd love star number 1.
We've got Bayern away on Wednesday.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can. That's what, for me, I meant to mention this to you yesterday, that was one of the mistakes that Maresca made at the weekend. Brentford was a more important game for Chelsea than Bayern.
Absolutely.
Because they can lose 2 or 3 games in the league phase of the Champions League and still go through.
Yeah.
PSG lost 3 times in the league phase last season. What Chelsea can't afford to do is be dropping points at Brentford.
I completely agree, and we have we do Inside Chelsea for talkSPORT, a podcast, and we spoke about it yesterday, and I think Maresca, he realised he got it wrong, bringing on Reece James and Marc Cucurella at half-time in that game, but I think you want to avoid a situation where, you look at City and Real Madrid last season when they ended up playing each other in the playoff and City go out before they've even got through. So I think Chelsea want to avoid that, but I think Arsenal are probably in the best position, I think, out of the English clubs.
Well, they've got a decent draw, haven't they? They've got a decent draw as well.
Yeah.
Ray, they've got Olympiacos, Slavia Prague,
I know.
Club Brugge, Kairat Almaty.
Jeff, I'm more looking at the nights out against Slavia Prague. More than the football, Jeff.
Love it.
I mean, the away trips for the Arsenal fans would be fantastic.
Yeah. And just quickly, I want to talk about Mondo Duplantis.
Oh.
Moving on from football, we had enough football. Because he's broken the world record for the men's pole vault at the World Championships in Tokyo, Ray, for a 14th time. He said on the back page of the Daily Express, he said, "I felt really good. I knew I had the record in me." You've broken it 13 times before, you surely go into every competition I'm going to break the world record again. 14 times.
Yeah, he looks a big guy. How tall is he?
I don't actually know.
No, he's 5'11".
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He looks a bit...
So in old money, he's 5'11".
He looks a strong boy.
14 times.
14 times, that's amazing.
Isn't it? Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, it is, but of course the reason is every time he breaks the world record, he gets a big cash payment. So every time he breaks it...
Just about breaking it.
He breaks it by the finest of margins. He doesn't want to go as high as he can.
Yeah, true.
No, that do me.
Then the big money.
Very clever, very clever.
But he's brilliant. He's so far ahead of anybody else in the pole.
Is it who's behind him? Who's second?
Is there any point?
There's a great pole vault.
Does it even matter who's second? Because
it will to him having got a silver medal,
Yeah, I suppose, silver and bronze medals. But that must be really not defeatist as a second, as a silver medal, knowing that there's probably no chance you're ever going to be able to win whilst Mondo Duplantis is competing.
Yeah, it's always been the way of the pole vault because Sergei Bubka dominated for absolutely years before Duplantis came along and took over that mantle. We were just discussing this in the office beforehand. How do you start at pole vaulting?
It's a great question.
What do you do?
You wouldn't have one at school, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Most things, like, you can do the 100 metres if you can run a bit. You
always got a sand pit, haven't you? So you can do the long jump.
Yeah,
hurdles maybe. Yeah, you could try and jump.
Pole vault?
Specialist, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You have to be in an athletics club or whatever and say, right, I'm going to go pole vault.
Yeah, you've got to be very tunnel vision, haven't you? For pole vault.
However he learned it pretty well, didn't he?
That's an understatement.
Yeah. Thanks, Olivia. And that was a look at today's back page of the Tesco Mobile for Business. Coming up, what makes a great derby? I'll give you my top 5 UK derbies next.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle selling clothes? Save in style with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big three networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go.
Difficult place to go.
Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day, on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cow field, never mind those gale force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Good morning to 6:35. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling. Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. I am delighted that I'll be on the train going home today and I won't hear that absolutely monotonous, darn, hopeless phrase, say it, see it, sort it.
It's so irritating.
So, and you can't say it if you're in a silent carriage, can you? It's just absolute nonsense. Right. Now, we thought we'd ask a question. What makes a great derby, and which are the fiercest rivalries in the country? What's great derby defined by? Is it just hatred of two sets of fans? Is it a strong history between the two clubs? Is it geographically based? The Manchester derby, for instance, could have all the ingredients of a top derby, couldn't it? But as usual, it was just flat on Sunday. As Roy Keane mentioned, no yellow cards whatsoever. If you looked at the South Coast derby at the weekend as well, Southampton against Brighton, Southampton against Portsmouth. Portsmouth fans had to travel by coach 20 miles, takes 20 minutes, at 8:30 on a Sunday morning. And the game itself was low on quality. And that's the case with a lot of derbies, you have to say, during the course of the season. Now, on Friday of last week, the former Aston Villa striker, Gabby Agbonlahor, had his say on the Manchester derby. It was safe to say that he was expecting plenty from the game.
I can name these derbies that are bigger than Manchester City versus Manchester United. Liverpool versus Manchester United. Aston Villa versus Birmingham City, West Ham versus Spurs, Spurs versus Chelsea, Sunderland versus Newcastle, West Ham Millwall, Leeds Manchester United, and these are derbies and rivalries.
Bigger than City United.
Yes, Wolves versus West Brom, Liverpool versus Everton, Swansea versus Cardiff, and Sheffield Wednesday versus Sheffield United, Celtic versus Rangers, Dundee versus Dundee.
United, you clown.
They're all bigger for me, Al, yeah.
Well, he made some good points, but Dundee United.
Yeah, I think he's
having that
too far.
He's gone a bit too far.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's talk about derbies then, because obviously, Ray, you've played in plenty of North London derbies, which is seen as being one of the fiercest of all rivalries. Was it fierce? What was it like for the players in the build-up to the week?
Well, what Arsene Wenger tried to do is just treat it like any other game, but it's more for the fans, Jeff, if I'm being honest. I mean, in my era, the late 90s and early 2000, it was always Arsenal-Manchester United. That was our big game. That was always our crunch game. That was the one where, you know, you could get one over on the team that's going to be competing with you. Liverpool wasn't as good as they are now. Man City wasn't as good, so it was more or less sometimes a two-horse race for the league. So that was always our biggest game. But the fans' point of view, bragging rights and all that sort of stuff when you're going to work on a Monday, you know, there'd be a few like backhand wages on the old derby as well. But yeah, it was a fierce game. I thought always the first tackle so important. Pat Rice always taught me that as a youth team player. Make sure you start on the front foot and you win that first tackle. And that puts them on the back foot, the other team. So I think that the foreign lads who come over, they know what a derby's all about. They've been growing up wherever they come from. They've been involved in derbies. And we just tried to say, look, come on, this is a big derby for the fans. And they certainly learned very, very quickly, Patrick Vieira and all them sort of guys. And, you know, it was a big game. It was always like, you could sense a derby on match day. A little bit different, you know, when you get to the ground, you get a little bit more stick from the fans and all that sort of stuff, especially if you're an away team. But they just, you know, we had players who really thrived on that, if I'm being honest. They went, right, come on, we shut these fans up. And that's what you got to do if you're at away day and try and get a result. And then you go and celebrate with your away fans. But the biggest one has got to be Celtic. Glasgow Rangers, you know, with the hatred and all that sort of stuff, with the, you know, policy, all that sort of, you know.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that goes down to all sorts of stuff, doesn't it? You know, religious backgrounds and things like that. But when you say the local boys, sort of, you know, the overseas players, they know derbies. Of course they do. You know, some huge derbies, all around the world, naturally. But if you look, for instance, at the Manchester derby at the weekend, there was only one Mancunian in there, if you like, on either side, and that was Phil Foden.
Amazing, really.
Yeah. So, do you think that is one of the reasons why it lacks some of the passion? As Roy Keane said, not a yellow card for the Manchester.
Yeah, I'm amazed by that. I mean, because as I said before, you go through a brick wall, especially when you know the away fans are there. They know how important it is for the club. and everybody involved in the club. You know, you sometimes do lose your head and go into a dodgy tackle, and you will get yellow cards, and then suddenly it's a. But maybe that's the case. I mean, maybe the foreign players know it's a derby, but it's a little bit more calmer now than it was when there's a lot more British players playing, probably, because they knew you grew up. You know, I grew up playing Tottenham in a youth team and all that sort of stuff. So you know how important it was then that it's your local rivals and that. So you do go that little bit harder sometimes into a tackle, or you will go over the top a little bit more. And that probably be the reason that happens. But I do like that feisty sort of nature of a game as well. I like
the feistiest one that you played in?
Feistiest North London derby. We've been quite a few, but I'm just trying to think if anybody was sent off. The best one, Jeff, obviously, when we won the league there in 2004, that was a nice one because I remember the atmosphere. But the feisty one was definite was when Sol Campbell went back.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell going back to White Hart Lane after he made that really, big move from Tottenham to Arsenal, which was a big call from Sol because, you know, a lot of players wouldn't do that. But Sol... And pretty fair to Sol, he said, look, if Chelsea were the best team in London at that time, I would have gone Chelsea. Simple as that. I wanted to stay in London. It was only because I wanted to stay in this area that I went to Arsenal because they were the best team at that time. But certainly going back there, I played in so many North London derbies. You could, the tension of the whole situation, you know, you had all people outside the stadium as we were going in the coach, and it's a really weird stadium, White Hart Lane, because you had that Rudolph's on the left and you had the T-junction, and you had, usually the coach had to stop. Usually the coach had to stop the T-junction, but this time around, on the way out, the police were on our coach saying, look, don't stop, we're going to get a few missiles thrown and whatever. And that was the funny story when I was at the back of the coach, Jeff, and I said, boss, can I have a word? Arsene Wenger at the front. So all goes quiet. I said, boss, I played in lots of North London derbies. I've never had it like this. And I said, I've got an idea. And Wenger's, he's such a funny man usually anyway. He went, what is it, Ray? I went, why don't we just put a big sign on the window? Sol sits here. At least they can get the right window. And he went, Ray, that's a great idea. We do that. We put the sign. Obviously, Sol was laughing a little bit. But as we went round the corner, we're getting pelted with missiles and whatever. And what happened is a massive crash. We thought the window had gone in, but it was all the plates where we used to have our dinner on the back of the coach. They come out of the cupboard and smashed on the floor. And that was because he was going around too quickly. But that was definitely the most feisty one I've been involved in.
Now, there's a piece in the Mirror online this week about Southampton against Portsmouth. It can't be one of the biggest derbies due to the lack of quality. But derbies don't normally have any quality, do they?
It's all about winning the game. I mean, no one remembers the game itself. It's like Liverpool. If they go on to win the league this year, no one will remember Burnley away, but all they remember, they got 3 points. They don't remember the circumstances of the game, and derbies are very similar, really. I mean, you go out there, it could be an absolute awful game, but if you win it 1-0 or 2-1 or whether you're going to win it, then people don't worry about that. They don't worry about how the quality of the game. They worry about who wins.
What's it like if you lose? What's the following week like?
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. You know, and how do you feel? I mean, you can't wait for the next game, really. That is the big question. But football's a really fickle game. You know, we all know that if you lose a game, if you lose 2 in a row, then there's a problem, especially if you're playing for Arsenal, because you're supposed to be trying to challenge titles and FA Cups and all that sort of stuff. But it's all about the next game. If you win the next game, that's quickly forgotten about.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going for titles and all that.
I think it's worth pointing out that it doesn't matter what level you're at, a derby still means, if you're a fan, a derby is still that special day. It's the date in the calendar that you look forward to immediately. For me, as a Hartlepool fan, it always used to be Darlington.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't played them in a lot of years because they've been below us in the leagues. Sorry,
you got that one in.
Yeah. But, you know, if you look at Wrexham or Hereford, their derby with Shrewsbury is a big derby. If you look at the Bristol derby, MK Dons against Wimbledon, not a derby, but is it a rivalry? And in
I think a lot of
Palace and Brighton.
I think a lot of the families have got mixed, you know, who they support as well. So there's a little bit of family banter as well, you know. And I'm really pleased this year. Like Newcastle, Sunderland's back, isn't it? And
Yes.
that's a proper derby as well. And then Sunderland have had a decent start to the season. They look a decent outfit now. Good point of the weekend. But everybody be looking forward to that. And I think the neutral would always tune into more for a derby than if you put yourself out to watch a derby, wouldn't you? Because you expect it to be a bit more faster. You expect the crowds to have a bit more.
Well, it's like those Portsmouth fans. They were at Fratton Park at 7:30 so they could get their tickets and get on a coach by 8:30 to be in Southampton by 9 o'clock for a midday kickoff. And that might be an issue with derbies as well these days, by the way, because the police always advise them to be early kickoffs. I'm not sure whether that.
Well, it's like Rangers Celtic. They stopped the away fans, didn't they? And that doesn't make a derby. The best for me, the best games I go to sometimes is the FA Cup games, because especially if you're playing a London team, you're going to get, especially at the Emirates, you get 9,000 away fans, Jeff. They get the whole end, and that makes it. That makes a game as well. I mean, the away fans make the atmosphere. Where they can, I remember going to Arsenal Leeds when Thierry Henry went back and he scored, and the away fans were superb. 9,000 Leeds fans were at one end, and they made the game. They made the atmosphere.
I think a derby without away fans is just a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, here for what it's worth, and I know you're all going to disagree, are my top 5 derbies. 5th is Birmingham against Villa. 4th, Millwall, West Ham. 3rd, I've been to this one, Cardiff against Swansea, and goodness me, that is ferocious. It's another one of those where you get bussed in, you're not allowed to make your own way. 2nd, Sunderland against Newcastle, and top, well, it's inevitable. It's the Old Firm clash.
It's got to be.
It has to be Rangers against Celtic.
Yeah.
This weekend, one more derby to tell you about that you may not know about. It's the FA Cup second qualifying round. 8th tier Enfield FC play 6th tier Enfield Town.
Oh.
Now, they've never met in the league or the FA Cup. Enfield FC are not based in Enfield, but in Hertford. Enfield Town play in Enfield. Not sure how many fans are going to be there, but it's going to be feisty.
Yeah, we done a little bit of filming now when we done Harry's Heroes back in the day, and we played at Enfield. I think Razor was involved in that, wasn't he, for a while?
Yeah.
I've always seen him with his Enfield tracksuit on, so I'm sure he was involved. But that's again, you don't realise what you've got to do to get to the first round of the FA Cup. We'll take it for granted, really, as players, because we used to get in on third round, but before that, they start probably in July, don't they? Qualifying, and you've got to go through like 6 or 7 qualifying rounds. And I follow my local team, Billericay, sometimes, and I go over there, and they've got through to the 3rd qualifying round. So I don't know who they've got this weekend, but it's always nice to go as far as you can, and probably financially for clubs like that, it'd be fantastic, isn't it, to get a little bit of money in from the FA?
Oh, important, very, very important. But Derby Day is always a special day, eh? Back with more in a minute.
of it in old New York.
Good morning to you. It is 6:52, and I got a text in here saying, Jeff, you're miles off it. Enfield against Enfield was last week. God, goodness me, I was reading an article. I won't say in which publication, which made me think it was this weekend anyway. I thought, well, if it was last weekend, I better look up the results. So I have looked up the result, FA Cup second qualifying round, and the result on this particular website comes up helpfully as Enfield 0, Enfield 3. So look, I'm assuming that's Enfield Town were the winners there because they've gone through as the away side there. Billericay, by the way, Ray. Hensford Town in the FA Cup on the 27th.
Okay.
Apparently. So
is that home, Jeff?
I honestly don't know.
Oh, right.
I honestly have no idea at all. But and loads of ideas for what are the biggest derbies. The Old Farm Derby for me, says Stu, and a lot of people. Wolves against West Brom, Swindon against Reading, Derby against Nottingham Forest, so on and so forth.
So many.
Anyway, the reason we were playing New York, is that Olivia's back with us. Of course, the Ryder Cup is just round the corner and in some of the headlines this morning.
Yeah, they are. And it's, I suppose, not for the right reasons. There's a story in the Times by Rick Broadbent, and it's basically former Europe captain Paul McGinley has basically been saying it's a massive mistake by breaking tradition to pay the American players at next week's event. They're getting $500,000 to represent America at the Ryder Cup, of which $300,000 of it has to go to charity.
Mm-hmm.
But the other $200,000... Just answer me this.
I don't think they need the money.
What? But why, Ray, are they? Surely, like if we sort of make it the equivalent to football, representing your country at a World Cup, surely representing your country means more than any amount of money, especially, like you say, given how much these golfers get paid.
Well, you'll be on, if you win it, I'm sure there's a bonus scheme, isn't there? From England's point of view, I should imagine, England players?
I don't know, but it always has been for the glory of playing, hasn't it? But
yeah, I mean... but
representing your country?
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Apparently there's not. It says, no, there isn't a win bonus for winning the Ryder Cup directly.
No, I'm talking about football.
For winning the World Cup. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Of course, yeah. There'd be bonuses, and that's what they should have. They should have bonuses, maybe, if they win it, because it's a big prize to win. I saw the pictures of, I think it was Justin Rose put it on, all the European team going on the plane.
They've got a close. I think they were saying Patrick Reed, who obviously didn't make the cut for the Ryder Cup this year. You know, he said it's unnecessary that his fellow Americans are going to be paid, and he actually thinks that plays into the hands of Europe because they
would he have given it back then?
Yeah, I wonder if he'd have made it, what he would be saying if it's still unnecessary. But I mean, it takes us back to 2023 in Rome, where Patrick Cantley refused to wear the Team USA hat, said it had nothing to do with not being paid and that his hat simply didn't fit. Interesting. But Ray, if one of your, say, let's say you're playing in a World Cup for England and one of your England teammates, wanted or demanded money to play in a World Cup, how would that make you feel?
There's usually a committee probably in the players, and they decide, and everybody goes with whoever decides. Yes or no, there's not the right answer, really. I mean, if you got bonus, I'm sure the players will be happy. If they don't get a bonus, they'll still be happy because you're paying for your country. So I think this day and age, it's a lot of image rights, and they use the certain England players for their sponsors and all that sort of stuff. But the most important thing is put the England shirt on and give you everything you've got. And I'm quite excited about this next tournament coming up. I think England will have a good chance with the squad they've got. I mean...
But in terms of the Ryder Cup, I don't understand. I don't understand why they need paying. People who are going to the Ryder Cup, by the way, maybe it sticks in their throat a little bit because they're paying $750 for a day
Absolutely.
ticket.
You're totally right.
To get in there. And also, once you're there, outrageous prices for food, drink, merchandise. Absolutely.
And they're very, very wealthy, these golfers. I mean, if they win, look at Scheffler. But
for me, if the Americans want to do it, so be it. We don't have to follow suit, and I think that's what Paul McGinley's saying. Really, is our golfers have never asked to be paid, and should never ask to be paid.
It's an honour. You're one of the best players in Europe to play in the Ryder Cup. So
I mean, you two come into talkSPORT every morning without being paid, just for the honour of...
We do it for the love of
we didn't get paid enough, Jeff. Someone else nicks all the money.
Hey, Ray,
I ain't looking at you, Jeff.
No, it's your other co-op.
No, yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah. Do you think we can win the Ryder Cup, Ray?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a really good team. A lot of the guys in good form going into it. But you're away from home, he's going to be a bit feisty. We talk about feisty. In New York crowd, imagine it.
Have you
few
had-
beers there? We go. It'd be more like a live tournament where they go mad, didn't they? Now, but I think we got every chance. I think that we got so much talent as the Europeans, but also the Americans have as well, and they want to win it in their own backyard, don't they?
Have you heard that the European players have been listening? They've got VR headsets, and you can basically put any insult you want into it.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's actually legitimate, but
John Rahm yesterday said it was absolute nonsense.
How is it?
He said it's some bloke in a northern accent shouting insults at you.
What was the one where they're all running around on the green? That was a few years ago, wasn't it? Justin Leonard, wasn't it? When he made a putt and they was all running around. Was that Medina? Was it?
When
they was all.
I was going to say every couple of years it never fails to deliver. Talking of delivering, thank you, Olivia.
You're very welcome. No, one more. I told Ray I went home early
agent?
one day, like yesterday, and now he's like, "Don't worry,
what did you do?
Don't worry, I'll be back, Ray, and we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking football again.
We need you. Come
you
on.
were done by 6:30 yesterday.
It was great. Blame Molly, the producer.
Aidan has texted and said, following on from Enfield against Enfield, this weekend is actually Enfield Cricket Club against Enfield Cricket Club. It's the North London version against the Lancashire version, and it sees the end of the cricket season.
It's a busy time at Enfield.
It's all happening in Enfield. It really is. So when you finish your slot, that's where you should be heading, Olivia.
Yeah.
Straight off to Enfield.
Straight off to him.
Yeah, I suspect it'll be Spain instead, though. Thanks, Olivia. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
And now the Champions League is back. Sure, you don't need me to tell you that. Arsenal kick things off tonight away at Athletic Bilbao. It's live on talkSPORT 2 from 5:45. An Arsenal fan and content creator, Joel Bayer, will be with us next to tell us if Arsenal are the biggest team never to win the competition. And that's our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Premier League's profit and sustainability rules are sold to us as financial fair play, a way to keep clubs from going bust. But there are those who feel it's starting to look a lot like a system that protects the big boys and keeps the rest in their lane. Here's how it works and why people feel that way. So clubs can only lose 105 million quid over 3 years, which sounds fair, but here's the kicker. Your limit includes how much you earn. So if you're one of the traditional top 6, you've got massive global revenue streams and you can spend way more while still technically following the rules. Meanwhile, ambitious clubs who've got money like Newcastle, Villa or Forest, well, they're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Newcastle might be backed by Saudi billions, but they just can't splurge the cash. Their commercial income isn't there yet. Want to buy world-class talent? Well, PSR says to them, your owner might have the money, but you're not making enough in shirt sales in Asia for that. The Magpies won their first domestic trophy since 1955, qualified for the Champions League, which you'd think would be a great springboard for them to go on and start building a team to challenge at the top. But because of PSR restraints, they couldn't break their wage structure for a new Alexander Isak contract, and look what's happened there. Nottingham Forest tried to invest to survive, they did that, but they got punished anyway. Meanwhile, clubs like Spurs, until last season, hadn't won a trophy in over 18 years, but because they rake in cash from the new stadium, they get a much bigger PSR allowance than a newly promoted club who are just trying to stay up. And let's not forget the loopholes these big boys are exploiting. Chelsea found the trick with those long contracts, selling the women's team. City are masters of related party sponsorships. Etihad this, Etisalat that, all within the rules, and fair play to them for capitalising on those opportunities. But what about the smaller clubs? They don't have that luxury. Now look, financial sustainability matters. Nobody wants another Bury or Morecambe situation. But there's increasing concern that rather than levelling the playing field, the current rules cement the existing hierarchy. So what's the solution? Well, either loosen the reins so ambitious clubs can spend within their means, or cap spending based on something other than revenue. Otherwise, we're just watching the same 6 teams swapping silverware most seasons while the rest play musical chairs for 7th. And that, folks, ain't what the Premier League was built on.
Morning, it is 6 minutes past 7. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Arsenal kick off the European season over in Spain on talkSPORT 2 this evening. Of course, they reached the semi-finals last time round. They start in Bilbao tonight. Are they attempting to win a second trophy under Mikel Arteta by trying to be more direct? Here's what the Gunners boss had to say.
Evolution of the game. The game is faster, the space is smaller, and everybody's trying to take advantages from other aspects of the game that are obviously key, actually, to win football matches. And at the end, you have to dominate nowadays everything in football to give yourself the best chance to win the games.
Yeah, doesn't matter how you win, does it? As long as you win.
Not at all.
Right, let's continue the Arsenal discussion. We're joined in the studio by content creator, huge Gunners fan, Joel Baer. Morning, Joel.
Morning, everyone. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, really good, thanks, yeah. Hey, so look, Arsenal, are they the biggest club never to win the Champions League?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't see why this is even a question. You go worldwide and people know who Arsenal are.
Yeah, well, Spurs get bigger average attendances at home.
Well, you say that, but
they do.
Are they not mostly NFL fans as well, just filling in? Maybe they are.
What about Atletico Madrid? Could they not argue to be a bigger club who not won the Champions League?
I mean, to me, they've got a very famous manager, and no disrespect to them, but that's it really. I think besides...
They've won La Liga 11 times.
They won La Liga, yeah. Well done to them. But
well, they've won the UEFA Cup 3 times.
There's something about Arsenal.
They've won the Super Cup 3 times.
There is something about Arsenal. I'm not denying them. There's something about Arsenal where it doesn't matter what we win, what we don't win, by the way. Everywhere you go, it's the biggest game when Arsenal...
So is this the year? Come on, Joel. Is this the year?
I don't see why not. You know, I don't see why I shouldn't be optimistic. Let's not forget, Liverpool have spent 466 million British pounds sterling. So they should be favourites. But when I see the way we've been playing in these first 4 games, even the game where we didn't win against Liverpool, where it wasn't the best, we've got the grit in us this season. We really do.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at the week you've got ahead, okay, in Spain this evening, and a lot's been made about the number of injuries, but you look at the depth of the squad now.
Quality.
Do you feel actually that Arteta might leave some out tonight? Because in your group, you got Olympiacos, Slavia Prague, Club Brugge, Karat Almaty. I mean, Arsenal will go through to the next phase, regardless of what happens tonight.
100%. I mean, look, I don't want to be disrespectful, but we're at the stage now where we can practically roll out of bed and do the job. And it's the beautiful place to be, because when was the last time you saw this kind of depth? It was during your time, wasn't it, Ray?
Well, we didn't have loads of depth. We didn't have as many injuries as they get now. But certainly now they've got 2 teams. You know, if you look at that back 4, you've got 2 positions, two players for every position.
Yeah.
You know, right back you have, left back you have. 2 centre-halves. He's brought 2 centre-halves for Gabriel and Saliba now. Mascara's come in. He's done a really good job since he's been in the team. And you look at the midfield, you've lost Jorginho and Partey and people like that, but you've brought in some good quality, and Zubimendi's obviously come in to fill all that gap. It gives Declan Rice a little bit more. Look, Declan Rice was on the bench at the weekend.
Incredible.
You know?
I don't think I've seen that.
He's the best player at the moment in our team.
Yeah.
And he's on the bench. So he's in a nice position where he can rotate a little bit, where some teams probably can't. But it's just that injury list is mounting again. I mean, Odegaard's on it now, and Ben White's back on the injury list. So he's just got to manage them injuries, and if he can get people back, then there's real competition for places. What does he do if Saka comes back in and Madueke, if he plays like that every week, like he did against Forest, he was a danger on that right hand side. What does he do? Does he put Saka straight back in, or does he? Well, that's the questions he's got to ask himself now, Arteta, and it's a good position to be in if you're a manager.
Yeah, it's a brilliant position
100%.
to be in. And I'll tell you what, Joe, I think the other thing you must be delighted about, I don't quite know how it works out. You got City at the weekend. City play 48 hours later this week. What an advantage that is for Arsenal.
100%. I mean, when you see what Ray just said is right. Like he's in a brilliant position, Mikel, because he can tinker with a team, he can rest some, and he's still got good quality players to come on. That's the difference. Some teams have got backup, but they're not as good, you know, and we saw that with us last season. But this weekend with Manchester City, it's not that we can't beat them. You know, we've got a really good record against them at the Emirates in the last few years. So I'm very confident in general. But right now, with the confidence of the team, with the likes of Madueke, by the way, who Arsenal fans, we got to hold our hands up, some of us.
Did you sign the petition?
Absolutely not.
That was a disgrace.
No, that was
a disgrace.
It was horrible.
You can't do petitions before players even turned up.
Exactly.
Give him a chance.
Yeah.
But how good has he been?
If you ask me, he's probably been the best right winger in the league so far this season. You know, there's going to be someone that comes in and complains, but you know, I reckon he's been better than Estabia.
And he can improve as well. I mean, he's very direct, he's very quick, but it's just that end product. If he can improve that a little bit, then he's going to be the real deal on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
And then now, suddenly, you've got a problem, selection problem if Saka's getting fit again.
But that's what we want.
Yeah, no, of course it is. And that's the headache. Mikel Arteta is a good headache to have.
Exactly.
I mean, this might sound a daft question. It won't be the first one from me, but talk about selection headaches. William Saliba is back in training. Do you put him straight back in? Because Mosquera has been fantastic.
He has been fantastic, but he does come straight back in. I think the partnership with Saliba and Gabriel, I think Mosquera's going to get better. He's learning off the guys as well. But Saliba's been so good for the last 2 years or a year, whatever it's been. He's got to come straight back in.
I agree.
It's a good partnership, Gabriel and Saliba. We talk about later on partnerships with centre-half position, but they've been one of the best in the Premier League in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. It depends on the severity of the injury. If, for example, it's something where you have to be careful, then no, you don't need to throw him back in. But if, for example, he's fully fit, he's available, then there's no reason.
He only rolled his ankle in what he done. He twisted his ankle slightly in the warm up against Liverpool.
Yeah,
and probably the medical team was saying, well, but he's desperate to play. He said, no, I'm fine. And you got to sometimes trust the player. And he obviously went up for the first ball, and he wasn't all right to play.
Yeah,
and that's why they had to change him straight away.
I'll be staggered if he plays in Bilbao because they'll save him, won't they? They'll save him for Manchester City at the weekend. Inevitably, Joel, you know what is going to happen? You're going to get wound up by people because you're in here. So Reece is doing the winding up. He says Arsenal fans are deluded. They're not in the same category as Europe's top clubs. They're the English Bayer Leverkusen, a big domestic club.
You ask fans worldwide who Arsenal Football Club are, and they know. There's a reason why the first game of this season...
Don't bite, Joel.
The biggest this season was Arsenal versus Manchester United, or Man United versus Arsenal. When you think of the English Premier League, that's who you think of. You think of Chelsea later on because they came in and they...
Who's the biggest club in the world in England?
Who's the biggest club in the world in England?
Is it Man United or Liverpool?
It's got to be Man United. I think...
Or Liverpool.
Or Liverpool are massive. But Manchester United, look, when they lose Man United, you can't get away from it. Liverpool, if you have a bad performance in Liverpool, yes, people can know about it, but it's mostly the people in Liverpool that focus on it. When a player has a bad game for Manchester United, it's worldwide. Like everybody in the Premier League knows about it, and it's just bad news.
Yeah,
overall.
A lot of people reacting saying, "Look, Arsenal spent £250 million." Yeah, but it's not. How much you spent. It's how you have spent it. And it would appear at the moment that they, spent it really well. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but that's how it looks as an outsider to me, that this is money well spent.
100% it's well spent. And I'll give you an example. It's just the beginning. I'm not trying to get onto Florian Wirtz, but he's been able to go under the radar, right, with the amount of money that's been spent on him, and no one said anything. They're just bigging up his running stats. When it comes to Arsenal, people were persecuting Victor Gyökeres before he kicked a ball. Now he's got 3 goals in 4 games. Everyone's silent.
It's amazing now, the transfer zone there, Jeff. Everybody's 60 million, isn't it? Back in my era, 20 million was a lot of money. I was with Alan Shearer at the weekend, and he was the record signing at that time, like 15 million.
Mil.
Sorry, Connor is texting and says, "Champions of the world, you'll never sing that." Well, you know what, Connor? That's because they weren't involved in the Club World Cup, as were, a lot of the top clubs. No Liverpool, no Arsenal, no Napoli, no Bayern Munich. Look, Chelsea did brilliantly out there, but you can't be saying to Arsenal fans, "Champions of the world, you'll never sing that." They may well have their name on the Champions League trophy this season.
Exactly.
Who knows? Joel, enjoy it, mate.
Oh, man, I
Cheers,
will.
Joel.
I will. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy it.
Content creator, huge Gunners fan, Joel Bayer there. Don't forget, you'll hear Arsenal kick off their Champions League campaign over on talkSPORT 2. Coverage gets underway at 5:30. Coming up, does Ray think it's I'm not sure I can ask you this. Does Ray think it's a good idea to go back to your ex for a 3rd time? We'll discuss Chris Wilder's return to Sheffield United next.
Defeat the drill on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade.
Yeah, a very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ray Parlour is with me. A slip of the tongue. And JP and Jimmy have both mentioned it. And you're absolutely right, guys. And I was absolutely wrong. Bayern, of course, they were in that Club World Cup. They beat the New Zealand team, didn't they? 10-0, remember
Oh, yeah,
that?
it was, yeah.
I meant Barcelona. But thanks very much indeed for that, fellas. Now, all this week, we're giving you the chance to win a share of £10,000 when we play Defeat the Drill, thanks to Travis Perkins. Joining us now, randomly selected from all the entries on talksport.com, is Wendy West. Morning, Wendy.
Morning, Wendy.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Hey, a great name, Wendy, by the way. Wendy West. That's a fantastic name.
If you can remember it.
Yeah. Where are you, Wendy?
I'm in Southampton, Hampshire.
Oh, right. Are you a Saints fan?
Yes, my hubby's a big fan, and I'm a little fan.
Oh, right, that's okay. Right, okay, so chance to win £10,000. This is how it works. You'll hear a sequence of various cash amounts being played out. All you need to do is shout win after the cash amount that you want to lock in. But if you hear the sound of a drill before you've banked your money, you leave with nothing. So it's a real test of nerve, Wendy.
Oh.
Make sure you shout win before you hear the sound of the drill. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Best of luck to you, Wendy. We're starting the game now.
£100. £1,200.
Win!
Whoa! Went early. You went very early, Wendy, but that was a big leap, wasn't it? From £100 to £1,200.
It's so much money, and I just didn't want to risk it because it's just so much money.
Wendy, I get that completely. I think it's a great call. Well done, Wendy. You've defeated the drill. You've won yourself a nice £1,200. Congratulations.
Well done, Wendy.
Thank you ever so much.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
good
you.
start to a Tuesday, isn't it? You go and enjoy that.
Lovely stuff. A bit of lunch out will be nice.
Yeah. Don't forget, don't tell your hubby you've won it, okay?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Congratulations, Wendy. Now, if you think you can defeat the drill, enter online now at talksport.com. And that's all thanks to Travis Perkins.
Defeat the drill on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade.
Oh, sorry, don't go. Oh, I thought it was near what it would have gone up to.
I know.
Oh, you got to put that bit on.
Now, the problem is, so when if Wendy's gone away in a great mood because she's won 1,200 quid, but it'd be a real downer, wouldn't it, if we went up with £10,000? you know.
Well, that's the game, though. You know, you got to be in it to win it. She's still happy with 1,200, but I like it when what it would have gone out on.
I don't want to risk ruining her day because she sounded so nice. Anyway, Chris Wilder's day has not been ruined. He took training yesterday before the official announcement that he had been reappointed a third time at Sheffield United. What do you make of that?
I thought he was a little bit unlucky to lose his job in the first place. They was top of the league at one stage with about 6-7 games. They did fall apart a little bit towards the end, and obviously Burnley was so good, weren't they? They wasn't conceding any goals under Scottish.
They got 90 points, though. It should have been 92 because they got 2 points deducted.
So, and playoffs, we all know anything can happen in the playoff final. And it went for Sunderland. I'm really pleased for Sunderland to be back in it. But to lose your job when you got that close to getting promotion anyway, and he knows Sheffield United, and look, maybe that was in the when they said we're going to appoint you, got to get us promoted or you lose your job. He might have known that, but I thought it was a little bit unfair to lose his job in the first place. It's been an absolute disaster start of the season, 5 defeats. He lost a lot of players, as you rightly said, Jeff, in the break. A few have come in probably the manager's not really got the best out of the new ones coming in. And I think it's a great appointment.
Yeah.
He knows the club. He knows everybody about Sheffield. He knows probably the backroom staff. He knows all, canteen lady. He knows everyone who runs that club. And I'm sure there'll be a bounce now.
I think it's inevitable. I mean, I think the issue is, you're right, they got rid of a lot of players and they brought a lot of players in. And Ruben Sellés wanted to play the game in a different way to Chris Wilder. So I just wonder how capable those players will be of adapting to Chris Wilder's style.
Well, it's just that desire, isn't it? You know, playing for Sheffield United, he makes sure you're a little bit like you win that first. You'll see the desire now in the team. He won't put up for anything else, Chris Wilder. You've got to play for that shirt, and that's probably been the difference, maybe, of players coming in, knowing the importance of playing for the shirt. And I think he'd get that back, drum that into them during training sessions and all that sort of stuff, make them work harder. And, you know, I think there'd be a smile on the fans' faces now, because they'll probably be absolutely devastated how it started. With the season they had last year, nearly getting promoted, how to lose 5 in a row. And, you know, Sheffield football, which is a big place for football, is having a nightmare. Sheffield Wednesday, we know about with the problems they're having. And obviously Sheffield United with the start of the season. But I think this is a great appointment.
Taking some big, heavy beatings. I mean, look, he should never have been sacked. You know what?
Shouldn't have been.
I hope that Chrissy Wilder, I mean, I think he still lives in the city. When they're in the Premier League, he used to get the bus to work.
He's Sheffield United through and through, isn't he?
He's Sheffield United.
He's going to do his best he can.
And I hope that when they've negotiated the new deal, that Chris has asked for double what he was getting, you know, when he was
it could have been blessing in disguise, who knows?
Of course, there's two sides to every story, you know. What you don't want to be is a supporter of the club they're playing this weekend, do you really? That's Charlton.
Charlton, yeah.
Yeah, Matt, the Charlton fan, said, great show, make sure you put your mortgage
who come in at the different stages of the season, and you've got them next.
Yeah,
there's always a bounce, and there's always something happens in that game. And look, usually you're getting sacked. You're usually getting sacked for having a nightmare as a manager. A little bit different for Forest. You know, it looked like he fell out with the owner, and obviously Postecoglou. I was a little bit worried at the weekend, but then I thought, well, you know, Forest are going to come to the Emirates. It's a difficult game for Postecoglou, first game of the season, first game under being Forest manager. But I was always wary of, it's the first game, will there be a bounce from the players? But lucky enough, there wasn't. But I think there will be at Sheffield United.
No
definitely.
bounce, never no bounce at all. Yeah, Sheffield United, not just 5 defeats, some heavy defeats in there as well, including that Friday night defeat at Ipswich 5-0. Coming up, so there are 6 English teams in the Champions League. Surely one of them has to win it? Well, maybe not. We'll discuss the favourites for the Champions League next.
boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters. But it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Oh, a little bit of a pregnant pause there. But we're back. It's 7:33. It is Tuesday, September the 16th, and this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour, and Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. And now Ruben Amorim's future once again all over the back pages. So Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy have been debating whether a former Everton and Burnley boss would want the job until the end of the season.
Sean Dyche ain't taking that in 9 months.
Oh, do me a favour. You telling me Sean Dyche wouldn't take the job at Man United for 9 months?
They're desperate. Give me 18 months contract. You want that security. What if he does well and they get rid of him? No, you want security. Managers aren't going to.
If he does well, then he stays.
Yeah, well, you say that, right? No, managers, they want to come in when a team's desperate. No one's going to take that to the end of the season. They're not coming straight out of it. Don't see it. They'll have an extra year. United are duty bound.
I'm sorry, mate. Hold on. Sean Dyche would take the Man United job.
To the end of the season?
Yeah, 100%.
His agent will say, no.
No, I don't care what my agent says. If Man United phone... If I'm Sean Dyche and Man United phone me and said, will you take the job to the end of the season? Right. If you do well, we'll potentially give you the job. Right? That's based on whether you do well or not. It can't get any worse for Man United.
18 months, I'll take it.
I'm lost for words because it's a nonsensical discussion, isn't it? What's the point of having a discussion on whether Sean Dyche would take the job when there's no job to take?
There's no job to take at the moment. But Sam was always the one, wasn't he? Sam Allardyce, everyone looked at Sam. He'd always hang around and wait for the right job.
So is Sean Dyche the new Sam Allardyce?
Well, he's not really had a job yet, has he, to go into, like Sam has. But I'm sure he'd be trying to get back in as soon as he can. I can see Jason's point of view that as an agent, you'll be going, well, no, we want longer than that, because he's showed that he can do it at Burnley and all the other managers. I know he got sacked from Everton, but he's still a quality manager. So they'll be looking at 18 months probably.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it. Al-Mari might be there till... I don't like to talk about people getting sacked when he hasn't been sacked, so it's an awkward one. But he's... Well, do you think he'll walk away, Jeff, or do you think that...
I think there's a chance that he'll...
All that Benfica news and all that sort of stuff, Portugal...
I think there's a chance. I think he's looked pretty disillusioned, and some of the things he said suggest to me he's pretty disillusioned.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not
well,
sure.
they need a result very quick. I don't know who they're
Yeah.
playing next in the Premier League, but they need a result very, very quick.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that playing Chelsea, I think, is it? Yeah, Chelsea.
Oh, is
this
it
weekend.
Chelsea?
Home to Chelsea this weekend.
Wow.
I'm not sure the players are buying into it.
No, I think she's got. Look, there's two legends in the Sun today. So, Paul Scholes, what a player he was, and Nicky Butt saying, look, they need to change the system. They need to work around a different way. And somebody, you can't be stubborn as a manager. You've got to look at players and say, what is going to be the best for the team and the individuals we have. And maybe it is 4-2-3-1 again, and maybe try and change it. If it's not working, three at the back, try and change it back to a back four, and see how you go. And at least the fans will say, well, at least he's trying something different.
He's just not going to, though, is he? Just not going to. By the way, Sean Dyche has already got a job as well. talkSPORT just launched a new podcast with him.
Oh, wow.
And you can be part of it. Send your voice message in now asking him anything. Get your voice heard on the pod. Easy to do. 03717223344.
Or the first thing we've got to ask him: will you take it Man United to the end of the season if it come around?
Yeah.
Or do you want 18 months?
Well, maybe you want to send that as a voice message on WhatsApp to the new podcast with Sean Dyche. Speaking of Jason Cundy, which we were a couple of minutes ago, by the way, the latest episode of Andy Goldstein's 21 Minutes to Go alongside Cundy is out now. Now, the Champions League is back tonight. Arsenal getting us underway, 5:45. talkSPORT 2 in Bilbao. Then it's the other side of North London with Spurs hosting Villarreal at 8. Who could be a surprise package this season? Are PSG still the team to beat? Who better to ask than European football expert Andy Brassel? Morning, Andy.
Morning, Andy.
Good morning, you guys. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. So, look, are PSG still the side to beat again? I thought they might be a bit leg-weary after the Club World Cup and so on, but not much sign in terms of their league form yet of them being leg-weary.
Yeah, but that's until you look at the squad that they're actually going to put out this week, Jeff, because the problem they've had is they had two of their best players get injured on international duty with France, Desiree Doué and Ousmane Dembélé. Then at the weekend, they had Kvaratskhelia go off. The defender, Lucas Beraldo, Kang-in Lee, they're really creaking at the seams. And, you would expect that, as you say, because they played every possible game that they could last season, and then off a week of training was straight back into the Super Cup. So I think for them to be in the red zone, as we call it nowadays, is not really that surprising. I guess the thing is, we know that they can peak later in the season. So bear in mind that if last season had been in the old format of the Champions League, the likes of PSG, Manchester City and Real Madrid probably would have ended up dropping into the Europa League. But the extra couple of games really helped them because it took them a while to get going. And PSG, after 5 games, looked in a right mess. They'd scored 3 goals after 5 games of last season's Champions League. They end up looking like the best side in Europe. And I guess that's the thing. They'll be primed to peak.
Andy, the Premier League got a pretty good hand, haven't they, with the teams who are in it? I mean, do you see an English winner this year? I mean, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Spurs are in it as well, Newcastle. They've got a pretty good hand there. There's some good teams in that competition. We all look at PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and all them sort of teams. But I think we've got an excellent chance of winning it in England this year.
Well, just by sheer strength of numbers, Ray. I think you're right. And I think obviously Liverpool are the team to look at. I think that's fair to say. But Liverpool will be very conscious of the fact that they were the best team in the league stage last season. They were brilliant, and then they drew PSG, got really outplayed over the 2 games in the last 16, and it was all over. So drawing PSG, who, as we said, didn't do that well in the league stage, was a pretty poor reward for Liverpool for how brilliant they've been, because I don't even think the results that they got really described how good they were when you think of how they played against Leverkusen, how they played against Real Madrid in the league stage. They were fantastic. The fact that they've got the squad to grow into it as well, bear in mind, Alexander Isak hasn't even played yet and probably won't be ready to play at his top level until October, you would think, with the fact that he hasn't a full pre-season. That's an advantage for them. But if we're talking about pacing ourselves, and Jeff was talking about the physical load on players and squads, I think Spurs are in a really interesting position, actually, because if you look at the fixtures they've drawn, it's not the worst run of fixtures anyone's got. Now, I think the most difficult draw is for Newcastle. There's no doubt about that. But living up here, is clear that people are just so excited, starting off with Barcelona, that they've got some massive matches to come. And they should still be able to make the top 24, which takes them into the playoffs for the last 16. So top 8 might be a bit much. But I just wonder, obviously people look at Liverpool and Arsenal. Spurs are going to be able to ease into this. I think they've got a great chance of making top 8. And then, of course, you get that rest in February when everyone else is playing a double-header.
And any other dark horses? Someone like Napoli, maybe?
I think Napoli are really interesting, Jeff, because they've gone and beefed up the squad. And, of course, Rasmus Højlund made a great debut at the weekend. He's the latest player to come out of Manchester United and play like a prince the minute he's strode out of Old Trafford. But the squad is really, really good. Kevin De Bruyne has added to it. Of course, they've got Romelu Lukaku to come back in the second half of the season, because the reason Højlund has come in because of that injury to Romelu Lukaku. So I think they're an interesting one to watch. I think in terms of a team that no one would expect to go deep, I wonder if Eintracht Frankfurt have got a bit of a shout. They've started the Bundesliga season very well. Of course, their coach, Dino Topmuller, was going, Hugo Ekitike is really irreplaceable, knowing that they've got a couple of 19 and 20-year-olds who can replace him. John Ozuna and John Mateo Boya have been really good at the start of the season. They will be their next 80, 90, 100 billion pound players. They're really good to watch, and the atmosphere there is absolute fire as well.
Fantastic. Interesting shout. Obviously, when people look at the usual suspects, they're going to talk about Real Madrid and Barca. Where are Barca going to play their games this season?
Right. If I had the answer, I would tell you. But they don't have the answer. The fact is they weren't able to play their first home game. Marcus Rashford's home debut, of course, at the weekend at the Camp Nou. They played it at the Stade Johan Cruyff, the 6,000 capacity B-team stadium. They had a draw amongst the eligible members to see who could get a ticket for that, which they announced on Friday morning. The game was on Sunday. It's all very last minute, Barcelona. And they're still hoping to get their game on October 1st against PSG, which would be a great gala opening at the Camp Nou, which when it opens will only have 27,000 capacity because it's opening in 3 stages. But obviously they want to get in there to not pay rent and to get their hospitality facilities open. If I had to bet, I think probably for the league stage, they'll be playing it in Montjuic because they still haven't got the necessary permits, and it's all a bit late now. They've still got 2 home games before they play PSG in La Liga, but we'll have to wait and see. But, as always with Barcelona, it's a little bit chaotic.
Brilliant. Andy, I'm not a big fan of the current format, but I have to say I'm looking forward to Slavia Prague and Bodo Glimt tonight. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. European football expert Andy Brassel there. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Get ready for No Likey, No Lighty. Comedian, actor, host of the legendary dating show Take Me Out, Paddy McGuinness will be with us. Were you a fan of Take Me Out, Ray?
Oh, I didn't mind it. I thought it was quite a good bit of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good fun, yeah. We'll also build up to the Champions League getting underway with former Liverpool striker Emile Heskey and former Spurs defender Chris Hughton. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Good morning, very nearly 7:49. It's Tuesday morning, it's September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ray Parlour is with me today, right through until 10 o'clock. So, what do we know this Tuesday morning? History maker Armand Duplantis soared to his 14th world record with his final attempt as the Swedish superstar continued his pole vault domination by winning a third consecutive title. I read that he'd won, out of 101 competitive events, he'd won 97 of those 101. Absolutely staggering. Leading candidate to become Benfica's next president has stepped up his pursuit to bring Ruben Amorim back to the club after watching the Manchester derby at the Etihad on Sunday. But is Amorim fully to blame for the situation at United? talkSPORT Sam and Jordan has pointed the finger at owner, or part owner, Jim Ratcliffe.
Of course, we're going to pull out the statistics and say, look what that 8 from 31 games is, appalling record. And EOS are looking at it from their own point of view. I don't know whether Jim Ratcliffe knows what he's doing. I certainly know that he knows what he's doing in business. I certainly know what he knows by taking his $3 billion worth of investment and taking it to the US rather than doing it in the UK because of the circumstances. I'm certainly knows that he knows what he's doing there. When it comes to the football side of things, with all due respect to him, he made a decision with Ten Hag which was absurd to keep them in situ and then give him a new contract, then take him out in October. You brought Amorim in, and ultimately you're seeing nothing from Amorim to give you any confidence. This is what I don't understand from the Man United fans. Have you fallen so low in your own expectations of yourself? Have you reached so far down into the bottom of your expectations of this football club that you're not able to say this isn't good enough? Because you seem to be applauding your manager as if it's... I mean, I realise that anybody but the Glazers is worth an applaud. Right, but the fact of the matter is a manager that's been brought in after 30, 40 games and doesn't seem to be having any direction of travel that gives you any confidence, because there's nothing about what Amorim's done so far besides what he's done previously at Sporting that can give anybody anything to pin the tail on the donkey.
I mean, look, United have got no divine right to win games, but are you surprised that Amorim's actually been given as long as he has?
Yeah, I can see Simon's point of view with Ten Hag. I mean, look, they won the FA Cup, but if it wasn't working, then you've got to change him there and then. I know it's difficult to do that when you've won a trophy, but it all went back to normal the following season, and they end up sacking him anyway. Yeah, the expectation, obviously, the final was massive for him last year against Spurs. You know, that was a big game for both teams. To get into that Champions League with the revenue that you get from that, and they'd be disappointed with not winning that game. But I am a little bit surprised. But I'm a little bit surprised with Amorim as well, saying, well, it's not working. The tactics aren't working. Last year it didn't work, and he kept with it. And then this season, you think, well, you've got to change something. You've got to change some sort of personnel, or you've got to change the system. You've got to change what suits the players probably a little bit better. And he hasn't done that. So that's the worrying thing for me, that when things are going wrong, you've got to try something different, surely. And he hasn't done that. But whether he gets time, we'll have to wait and see. The problem is, who do you bring in? You know, there's going to be a big... Obviously, they're going to have to pay him up to get rid of him if they decide to do that. And it's a gamble sometimes. Look, so many managers haven't worked out at Man United. There must be somewhere something to do with behind the scenes as well, the recruitment, this, that, whatever, because you've had the best managers ever go in and they couldn't get it right. So there's got to be some sort of problem with the club as well.
Well, it's certainly no quick fix.
No, of course not.
Sure. And now she's usually back in her bed by now, but today Olivia is back with a bit of this. Olivia, you can hear the theme music playing. What do you got for us this time?
That is...
But she's usually in bed by now.
That is the best music. Honestly, every time I hear the Champions, it's just iconic. So I was on early breakfast this morning talking about that I would rather win the... say I as if I play, I don't play, but I would rather my team win the Champions League over the Premier League, right?
It's all opinion.
That's the thing, but obviously, as a Chelsea fan, I've seen us win them both, so I know what it feels like to win them both, and I just feel like there's something a little bit more special about saying you're champions of Europe rather than champions of England. And I know you don't have to be the best team to win the Champions League.
English
don't.
Yeah, English is the best league, though, isn't it?
Oh, the Premier. So I prefer winning the Champions League, but reduce it. Would you prefer to win the Premier League, even though, Ray, you don't know what Arsenal feel like to win the Champions League?
Yeah, we nearly did, but we haven't won the Champions League, which is a shame. It's a tough one. Look, if you ask me now, of course I'll say Champions League because I've not won it. I've won the Premier League, so you want to try and get every single trophy won. But if you ask me before I won my first Premier League title, I'll say Premier League.
So it's interesting because George and Henry, the assistant producers, they're in there, and one of them, they're both Arsenal fans. One of them says right now they'd still rather win the Premier League, and the other one says he'd want to win the Champions League, which I find really interesting as an Arsenal fan, because surely you've won the Premier League now, you've done it invincible. Surely now the Champions League.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I was playing. That's how long ago. What can I say? If you win the league, you're the best team.
100%.
Satisfaction over 38 games, not 11 or 12 in the Champions League. And in those 11 or 12, you could lose. You could lose 3. What PSG did last season. You know?
But the journey the fans would have by winning the Champions League is so much better, because you're going to go to different cities and all around Europe, and to get to that final eventually, and massive occasion, and to win it would be probably, for the fans' point of view, be better, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure. I think the fact that it's been done, you know, in terms of the league from August through to May, playing week in and week out. I think the achievement of consistently proving you are the best would be more satisfying.
Well, I always would pick the league, but if you've won the league, you would always go probably Champions League.
Yeah, so I'm definitely in the.
I'm surprised you've not picked the Club World Cup.
Won that twice now, Jeff. Don't need to win it anymore.
Yeah, well, it didn't count the first time. Because it was even more Mickey Mouse then than it was last time.
2 games, I think. Okay, I've got a question for you, Ray.
Yeah.
Take your invincible Premier League trophy, right?
Right.
You never won the Champions League. Would you swap?
No.
Right, so I felt like, I don't know if it was at PLP or somewhere else, I felt like I asked you this before, and I don't know where it was years ago.
Did I say I'll swap it then?
Yeah, I thought, but maybe that's just me imagining it, but would you, so your career, you wouldn't swap the Invincible Trophy for a Champions League and a Premier League?
I mean, look, it wasn't meant to be. We had a really good chance in '99, I think it was. We lost to Valencia over 2 legs. And we would have had Leeds in the semi-final.
Yeah.
And that was probably the year. And then you can go to 06, Arsenal probably should have been, Lehman got sent off.
Yeah.
So they've been close, but again, you need that little bit of luck. But you should never change your middle. I mean, it's there for a reason why you won it, and that was a special season. Winning my first title was a special season, 98, under Arsene Wenger. And that was probably a really good team of players as well. But yeah, look, I would love to have won a Champions League, but there's a lot of fantastic players out there
that
haven't won trophies in general. So I'm very lucky to win trophies, and I wouldn't change them for the world.
And as far as either ors go, as far as the fans are concerned, they snap your hand off for either of them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know,
either will be good this year.
It's a good debate, though, especially I think Arsenal fans are a good, because I think they'd probably be split down the middle, because some just love, people just like Jess says, people love winning the Premier League. They love the satisfaction of being the best team over 38 games. No one can argue that you are the best team in
If you
England.
ask Liverpool now, fans, I think they go title.
I think they go champions.
No, because it's hard to retain your title.
Oh, to retain it.
Yeah, you're retaining your title, and it's always more difficult when everybody wants to beat you even more when you're champions.
I think
That's why City was so good. So what they achieved, in those years when they won it, how many times they win it in a row?
4.
Four.
The Premier League, yeah,
Mate,
ridiculous.
That is unbelievable to do that.
It is, and you're right. I mean, it's a big test for Liverpool to see whether they can do it.
Interesting to see what Liverpool fans say, but I would say to retain your titles a big.
I think with Liverpool fans, the majority would go for retaining the title. Could be wrong.
Well, I might be
I'm
totally
in the
wrong.
opposite camp. I think now that they've won the Premier League again, I feel like they would be like, right, okay, let's now go and win the Champions League. I think it's a good debate. I think it's a good debate. I think it'd be interesting to know what fans think.
Brilliant. Well, look, we're divided in here.
So you want Chelsea to win the Champions League?
Yeah. What?
Well, they ain't going to win the league, so yeah.
I actually think I'm in the minority of Chelsea fans, though. I think because Chelsea haven't won the league since 2017, a lot of Chelsea fans would now say, right, let's go for the league. Whereas me, I'm like, I'd rather win the Champions League.
And my predictions, I 2-1 Chelsea against Brentford.
So close.
So close.
I don't think we're going to win either, but, it's fine.
Oh, no.
Olivia, thank you very much indeed. Couple of quick texts.
Back to bed.
Gareth, disgruntled Manchester United fan, says, morning, Jeff, morning, Ray. Gareth Southgate from Manchester United is the simple answer. Man management, feel-good factor. And it said, Jim, get it done. And one more from Sam says, sorry, Jeff. Ray says United had top managers in and they couldn't get it to work. Said Jose finished second, called out the dead wood, that he wanted to leave the club, and got made out as though he was the problem. Andy Goldstein refers to it being a black cloud over United when he was there. I'm sure that black cloud has been a lot blacker over the past 3 seasons than back there, which is a very fair point to make. And Sam says, get Jose back. He is available. He will get them well structured and hard to beat, which is what they need. I tell you what, it's hard to argue that he would get them well structured and hard to beat.
Well, Jose's a proven manager, isn't he? So,
Sam, thank you very much indeed for that. 7:59, we'll be taking calls. 03717 223344. Which competition would you rather win, the Champions League or the Premier League, and why? It split the office. We want to hear from you. But up next, we'll focus on a team who were delighted to win the Europa League last season. How far can Thomas Frank, experiencing European football for the first time, of course, himself, take Spurs? We'll discuss that next.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good morning, 6 minutes past 8, Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Chef Stelling. Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Liverpool fans are speaking loud and clear. Stephen from Lisbon says, as a Liverpool fan, I'd normally take the Champions League over the Premier League, but if Liverpool win the league this year, they'll overtake United, as they're both currently on 20 titles. Ooh. It won't matter anyway, he says, as Liverpool will win both. And Simon, the Liverpool fan, same thing. Morning, Jeff. It's the Premier League all day. The further we get away from Manchester United in terms of titles, the better. And now Spurs back in Europe's Premier competition.
It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur!
Very proud to sit in this chair and be part of the next chapter.
I think they've got a genius of a manager in Thomas Frank.
I think Mohamed Kudus from West Ham, I think they paid a lot of money for him. Xavi Simons, I like very much indeed. Paulinho, what a fantastic signing he could be.
Well, everybody was laughing at Spurs this week. They ain't laughing now.
Been to Glimt already. They've dealt with those conditions. I think they'll look at that list and think some fun games, but we can absolutely go.
Cuts it back to Pepe. Lovely turn, lovely swivel, lovely finish.
When we're looking at the North London side of it, Nicolas Pepe, as I said, has played very, very well. Ange's Spurs, you look at his pace and his movement, he would be rubbing his hands. It might be a bit tougher for him against Thomas Frank's Spurs.
Yes, Spurs back in the Champions League after a couple of seasons away. They welcome Villarreal to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight in their group stage opener. Big day for the Spurs boss, Thomas Frank, of course, who will be experiencing his first taste of group stage European football. He was speaking yesterday on his personal journey from the Championship to the Champions League.
Of course, it's a fantastic opportunity or experience tomorrow. I'll call it experience tomorrow. In many ways, you say we played with Brentford in Championship at Griffin Park, small, compact stadium, and tomorrow we are playing in one of the best stadiums in the world, if maybe the best, again, in front of our fantastic fans. It's European night. We know they will be absolutely on it. It will be so special. So, really looking forward to the first 2 minutes and the Champions League anthem, and then his focus on the game.
Big night for Tottenham, big night for Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
You're happy for him?
I think it's a great appointment. I think he done really well at Brentford. You can see the players really playing for him, and he don't mind changing styles at times as well when he has to. If he knows he's playing against probably a better team, he can change his system and change the personnel to make it more difficult for the other team, which I like to see in a manager, because you can't always go the right way. What probably Postecoglou did, and he come unstuck with the players he had. But yeah, it's going to be a special night tonight at the Tottenham Stadium. He'll be very excited because it's his first Champions League game. Hopefully, he'll be hoping for many, many more going forward. Spurs have had a really good start. Good win at the weekend. Look, West Ham are pretty poor at the moment, we must admit. But Tottenham's still got to go there, and it's a real fierce derby, that one. Tottenham v West Ham, and they got the job done. And I'm sure it'll be a brilliant atmosphere tonight at the Tottenham Stadium.
Shouldn't underestimate Villarreal. They started okay in Spain. To give us more, let's bring in a man who played nearly 300 times for Spurs. Chris Hughton is with us. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ray. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Hope you are as well. Thomas Frank, what do you make of the job he's done? It's early days yet. What do you make of the job he's done, though, so far at Tottenham?
No, you're right, Jeff. It is early days. But I felt that once the club had made the decision in the summer that Thomas was a very good appointment, somebody that had done a wonderful job at Brentford, and having to fight different fights as regards the quality of the Premier League, and it's been a good start so far.
Yeah, just looking at the players itself, Chris. I mean, the two centre halves. We know Jamie O'Hara thinks they're the world best or whatever, but they are so important, aren't they? The two at the back, Romero, Van der Ven. If you can keep them, at times last season they got a lot of injuries, didn't they? At times, and Postecoglou was going against the grain really with all the injuries he had. But if those two can stay fit, that's the bedrock of the team, isn't it? The two centre halves, clean sheets is so important, and they're very important players for Tottenham.
No, I mean, I would agree with you there, Ray, that I think when you look at the squad and the additions that they've had to the squad, and of course at this moment with, a few injuries as well, and of course Maddison with his creativity, Kulusevski and Solanke all being out. But I would agree with you. I think the two centre-halves are pivotal, and I think we saw last season, I think for the periods of time that they missed games in the season, it had an effect on the team. And I think the two have got a wonderful relationship. Of course, Van der Ven with his pace. Romero, I think, is a top player. And I think last season we probably didn't see consistently the best of him. But I think he's a top world-class player. And so, on that one, Ray, I certainly would agree with it, how important they are to the team.
Yeah. When I look at it, Chris, I mean, in terms of the league, 3 clean sheets in their first 4 games. Now, it took them until the end of November, 13 games to get their first 3 clean sheets last season. Although there were injuries, it's principally the same defence, which brings me to the point is how important has the recruitment of João Palhinha been for Tottenham?
Yeah, no, I think it's been massive in that, and I think particularly if going back to last season and the amount of games that the two centre halves missed, and I think if you're not having that core of the team, particularly at the back there, then what you need in front of them, you need that stability in front of them, And I must admit, I was a little bit surprised that Paulinho didn't play the amount of games that I think we thought he would have played at Bayern. And for him to become available, I must admit, I was, again, very, very surprised. But I think with the way that Spurs play, because I think they do want to play an open, expansive game. But I think in the manager, he's got the capabilities of changing that. But it's so important to have that real sort of stability in central midfield. And I think Paulinho will give them that.
Chris, I've got to ask you, the group itself, we've had Andy Brassel on, and he's an expert in Europe, and he reckons that Tottenham have got a pretty good draw to the Champions League. So it's so important that they can qualify automatically. They get that little bit of a rest in February as well. And, financially for the club, it's where you want to be playing your football in the Champions League. Now, what is a good season for Spurs this year? Because obviously Thomas Frank's come in. Is it, look, I'm sure they've got to aim for the top four, but is that a little bit out of reach, or do you think they've got every chance of trying to get in that top four?
I think what we have to look at, Ray, it's about momentum. We have to look, I think, where the team finished last season, and it was a difficult season last season. A brilliant finish, but it's a huge step from last season to finishing in the top four this season. But I think the aspirations always have to be Europe. I think with the quality that I think is in the squad now. We've already spoke about some of the other aspects of, the stadium and so many other things being right, but it's about that consistency on the park. The team has started very well, but you can have that blip. I mean, I was at the Burnley game, and and having had that brilliant victory at Man City the game before, up against a Burnley team, and probably fortunate enough to only lose 1-0. So then blips can happen. But I think with the squad that we've got now, I think it's capable of pushing for them European places. Top four, I think, difficult. But I think the aspiration should be pushing for Europe.
Chris, thanks for joining us, mate. Great to see you.
Cheers, Chris.
No, you're welcome. Thanks, chaps.
Interesting run in the Premier League. They've got Brighton, Wolves, Leeds, Villa, Everton in the next 5. It's a chance.
The Bournemouth game, that was pretty poor, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, but Bournemouth were brilliant in fairness.
Bournemouth, it's amazing, isn't it? They lost all their back, probably 3 of their main people at the back, haven't they? During this
and look just as good. It's incredible.
Unbelievable how they work.
Could be a lot of empty seats, by the way, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, apparently. I think maybe because the top price tickets, well, not the top price tickets, but tickets are going for sort of 90 odd quid.
Are they?
Yeah, so maybe Spurs Villarreal doesn't have quite that appeal to pay.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of money. It is
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
If you're following your team on a weekly basis and away games as well, there's a lot of sports who do that. They spend a lot of money on and sometimes it's better to just fill the stadium up, isn't it?
Yeah,
make it a little bit cheaper, make it a little bit accessible for people.
Well, they're going to have the same problem because the other home games are Slavia Prague, Dortmund and Copenhagen. I mean, they're not necessarily the biggest of draws.
No.
Coming up, we'll revisit one of the all-time talkSPORT clips that's had millions and millions of views across all social media channels. Luckily for Ray, this time it's not him talking about World War II.
It could have gone either way, but it was unbelievable how they took chances and it come out on top.
Morning, 8 on Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ray Parlour. Now, the latest episode of the 21 Minutes to Go podcast with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy is out now. Plenty to look forward to in this week's edition. But most importantly, in this episode, we hear the original story of arguably one of the best calls in talkSPORT history, Schmelz Herring.
Hi, Kev, you all right?
Yeah, I'm very good, and you?
Are you home alone at the moment?
No.
Okay, how old are you, Kev?
15.
15. Legally, you need permission from the bill payer. Can we speak to your mum or your dad?
Hello?
Hello, who's that?
Hi, this is Schmelz Herring.
Is that not just Kevin putting on a deep voice?
Yeah. What's your name, please?
Schmelz Herring.
Schmelz Herring. Hey, what's Kevin like as a young boy, as a son? What's he like?
He's a very good boy.
Are you married, Schmelz?
Yeah.
You are. What's your wife called?
Hannah.
Can we speak to her?
Yeah.
Oh, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Wow,
Excellent
this is
stuff.
amazing.
Excellent. We're speaking to all the herrings.
Hello?
Oh, Hannah?
Yeah.
How you got?
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Good
Shoal of herrings. It was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? It has to be one of the favourite talkSPORT calls ever. There have been some great ones, haven't there? You know,
It's like the old Life of Brian film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's any women in here? No.
my favourite call goes back many years, and it's still the Auntie Naomi call. You know, Auntie Naomi's finished.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
brilliant.
That's very good.
If you haven't already, go and check 21 Minutes to Go with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy, available on your favourite podcast provider. Lee says, you mentioned Spurs charging £90 for Champions League tickets. I'm a Forest season ticket holder, and I'm paying £70 for our home European fixtures. And Thomas says, hi Jeff, my ticket for the Tottenham game tonight is £119.
Is it? Well, it's got to be. Is that the hospitality fee or something? I don't know. Obviously, tickets are dearer, whatever you want. And I'm sure there's so many lounges over Spurs' new stadium. I've never been into the lounges, but there's all different sort of ticket prices, isn't there?
Yeah.
What's the standard one though? The standard one is £90. It must be a good seat. It might be a good seat somewhere, maybe in the middle or wherever it's going to be. But look, it is what it is, and if no one turns up, then they might have to look at it and say.
I think plenty will turn
of course
up,
they
but
will.
there might be 4,000 or 5,000 down on capacity, but we shall see. I'm not sure how much the top price tickets are at Rochdale. We'll find out right now, though, because it's time for the latest odds with Coral and John Hill.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
John, good morning to you.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ray. Hope you're both well.
Yeah, very good, thanks, mate. So what do you pay to get in Rochdale? I mean, I know you won't pay anything, but what would the fans pay?
Well, main stand, you're looking at £25 tops, just a little bit less than £20 in other stands. So, look, it's not bad, is it, really?
No, that's all right.
Not to watch a top-of-the-table side, obviously.
Well, that's the other thing. We're playing good football at the moment, Jeff, as you know, thanks to your star striker, Mane Desaruve. What a player this lad is, the number 9, banging him in for fun. And we had a good winner way down at Cornwall at the weekend, Truro, 1-0 there. Yeah. Our longest ever away trip, that was, Jeff. No surprise there. And, came back with all 3 points, so delighted.
Yeah, brilliant. By the way, Ray, Tom, who texted in about the £119 ticket, is not hospitality. He said, no, it's not, Ray. You get 2 pints and a burger.
Oh, wow.
So sounds pretty pricey. Anyway, look, Champions League is back this evening, John. So let's talk outright, first of all. How do you bet?
Yeah, well, look, it's all the top signs at the top end of the betting, as you'd expect. The likes of Barcelona 6-1 favourites, Liverpool 6-1, and PSG 6-1. So we can't separate those 3 teams at the top of the betting. Arsenal race 7-1, so we rate Arsenal's chances quite high, ahead of Real Madrid. They're 15-2, and then we've got City at 9-1. So wide open competition, as you'd expect with all the big teams. But Ray, you must be excited and feel that Arsenal, have got a good chance of at least progressing to the latter stages.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they got to the semi-final last year and was a little bit unlucky. I mean, they played really well away from home, But PSG deserved to win it. They were the best team in the end. But yeah, they've got to try and do the same and maybe try and go one step further and get that final. But no, it's going to be really competitive. We know that. It's some good teams in this Champions League. Just like single bets tonight, Arsenal playing tonight, John. So how do you price them away from home?
Yeah, they're quite short, actually. They're 3-4 favourites, Ray, which is quite surprising, really, on the road against Athletic Bilbao, who are a decent side, aren't they? But I think they've got a key injury. Williams is out for them, their key winger forward. That's a big loss for them. But Arsenal are solid, aren't they? You know, the manager recruited in the summer to give them cover and add depth to the squad to try and compete in all these competitions. So there'll be no issues, will they?
It's all on personnel, John. Just you never know what teams they're going to pick, though, do you? You know, Premier League they're going to go strong, but whether they mix and match, and that's what you're betting on, really. What sort of changes they're going to make.
Yeah, and I would advise have a look at the team sheet if you're having a bet tonight. Certainly for the first goal scorer market, would expect Yorkes to start with it, but you just never know. He might rest things up at Eze. Obviously, a top end of the betting as well. So if you have the first goal scorer bet tonight, I think the advice is look at your team sheet, see what kind of team he puts out. Arteta, but whatever the case, it'll be good enough, won't it? You feel it'll be good enough to win the game that he puts out.
Yeah, I think I think Arteta will make changes because he's got Man City coming up at the weekend, and in a lot of respects, that is a bigger game. I mean, overshadowed by it all, really, John, is the Carabao Cup, but Grimsby, Manchester United conquerors, in action again this evening away at Sheffield Wednesday. They will fancy their chances. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. And they are favourites. I'm just looking in now.
Whoa, Grimsby favourites.
Grimsby. Yeah, wow. Extraordinary. 17-10 Sheffield Wednesday. So, yeah,
wow.
I certainly thought I was needed to go to Specsavers for a second there. I expected Wednesday to be the favourites. But yeah, we make Grimsby 6-4. That was just an incredible game last time, wasn't it? Against Manchester United. The rain was coming down. It was just an unbelievable storyline. And the penalty shootouts just went on forever, didn't they? And they got the job done. It was a fantastic evening. One they'll never forget, I'm sure, Grimsby fans. And can they follow it up tonight? Well, we certainly think they've got a great chance. 6-4 favourites to prevail at Hillsborough.
Yeah, well, you know what, John? They'll probably have more fans there than Sheffield Wednesday because the Wednesday fans are boycotting the game. There's a great story around this, by the way, because Grimsby were offered 4,000 seats by Sheffield Wednesday, sold them all, then asked for some more, and Sheffield Wednesday told them they could only have them in a 2,000 block, providing that they sold all of that 2,000. I think it's something to do with operating costs. So what Grimsby have gone and done is they've bought the extra 2,000 seats as a club, and they will pay for the unsold ones themselves, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, the more support you have, Jeff, the more chance you've got. So that's how they're looking at it, and they've got an extra chance. There's a couple of other games, John, as well. Quickly, Brentford Villa. Tonight, and Palace, and Palace Millwall's a good one.
Oh, it is. Back to derbies,
that'll be lively. One won't it at Sellers Park. Yeah, that will be lively down there. 4-9 favourites Palace. Millwall 6-1 to cause an upset in that game. And then Brentford Villa, very little between the two sides here. 17-10 Brentford Villa. 29-20. I think I read in the paper this morning, Unai Emery, he's going to take it more seriously this year, this competition, he says. He wants a chance to try and win some silverware. And I always, these sides that are in mid-table in the Premier League, I always wonder,
he needs to score a goal, that's what he needs.
Yeah. Well, you need to score a goal, but why don't they go for it? Why, it's a silverware at the end of the day. It's a major competition. You see a lot of them make 11 changes, Ray. I can never quite understand it, but there you are. I understand the finances of the other competitions and whatnot, but Emery says he'll put a strong side out tonight, so let's see the 11 he puts out.
John, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, John.
A lot of response to ticket prices. Stephen Jones says, I'm paying 35 quid for Newcastle against Barcelona as a senior. But even so, that's still good. Aaron from Harwich says, morning, got all 4 Champions League home games in the Matthew Harding lowers stand at £51.50 each. Unbelievable, Jeff.
That's good.
Not so good, though. Bebop says, me and my 8-year-old paying £72 each for Spurs tonight. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral, 18+, gambleaware.org. Coming up now, talkSPORT, I think, gets an unfair reputation of being clickbaity. However, next we hear an opinion so outlandish that it left even Jason Cundy stunned. But remember, everyone is entitled to an opinion. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone
very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark. Get £750 of any used car or home charger. I should tell you that at the moment our producer and our newsreader are both locked out of the talkSPORT studio.
You can make this up.
Which
quite a new studio.
But that means correspondingly we're locked in.
Oh, well, I've been locked in a few places, Jeff, but not in a studio at 8:30.
Yeah, the same sort of liquid's not on offer. I was locked in once in a dressing room at Sky Sports before Gillette Soccer Saturday. Wow. And eventually I got some of the security staff to come. It was about 3 minutes to 12. And one of the big burly security guards literally...
Run through the door.
It was like a cop, seen from a cop show. He kicked and barged the door down so that I could get to the studio.
That would have been a bit embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure whether...
that is...
DJ Ed, you could go and charge the door down, could you? Yeah.
We're a long way up as well. Do a bit of abseiling
This
later, Jeff,
could
to get
take a while.
I don't know if we're going to get out of this place.
Anyway, look, let's get back to the football, shall we? Last season, Spurs lost 22 league games. They finished 17th and conceded 65 goals. And there were injuries. Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, despite that, played 31 times between them, including a 2-1 loss at home to Ipswich. They also both played the full 90 minutes against Bournemouth just a couple of weeks ago, where Spurs really were lucky just to concede the once. It could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Despite all that, though, have a listen to Jamie O'Hara on the Sports Bar last night.
Mate, I'm telling you now, Van der Ven and Romero, I'd go as far to say the best centre-back partnership in the world right now. Why are you not saying nothing?
I'm just waiting for the laughter track.
No,
and I'm
because Harry Howe agrees with me.
Yep.
He agrees with me.
Say it again. Let's see if
No. They get into any team in the world right now. There's only one player who I think is probably better than them, and that's Van Dijk.
Well, he does come out with
I've gone a bit silent as well.
Yeah, well,
I've done a Jason.
Look, I mean, they are good players. I like them both a lot, but they're probably not the best defensive partnership in North London, let alone the world.
No, I think Gabriel and Saliba have proved that they're very good. Look, Van Dijk, as you rightly said, he's not really had a Konate. He's come in on spells, isn't he? And Van Dijk is getting to any side, I'm sure. But look, as I mentioned, we said to Chris Hughton earlier, Jeff, they're very, very important. Very, very good players at the back. If they stay fit, Tottenham have got a lot more chance of winning football matches if they're not there. But to go to say they're the best in the world, well, you know, I don't know what sort of what he's been having in his coffee.
Well, their record last season was so dreadful in terms of conceding goals, and I know there were a lot of injuries. I know that Van der Ven in particular played a lot of times when he wasn't fully fit, but they've got a long way to go, haven't they, to prove that?
Well, of course they have, and they've got to stay. That's the most important thing for Spurs is keep them fit. You know, they've got to be fit for more or less all the games this season, and if you can do that and Spurs can keep clean sheets, then they will have a chance of getting maybe in top 4, top 5, because defensive unit is one of the most important things in any team. You asked Arsene Wenger when he first turned up, he had the best back six. I call him the best back six: Steve Bold, Tony Adams, Martin Keown, Dixon, Winterburn, and David Seaman in goal. So if you've got that structure at the back, you've always got a chance. You've only got to get a few flair players going forward, then you've got a chance of winning games. So, but to say they're the best in the world, look, I'm not going to say nothing against. They are very, very good players, and they are very important for Spurs. But to say they're best in the world, I'm not too sure about that.
You're feeling okay, Ray? You're not running out of air yet? Because we are still locked in here. I can see the door coming open right now. It's DJ Ed's done the trick there. He's used his muscle. There he is in the background. Yeah.
You couldn't make it up, could you?
They could not make it up. So
the juice was locked out. But I tell you what, the show was going
really... I don't care about him being locked out. I care about us being locked in.
To be fair, the show was going much better when he was locked out.
Yeah.
I'll keep him out there.
Yeah, listeners wouldn't have noticed a thing, would they? I wouldn't imagine so anyway.
But would you... Look, I'm not seeing partnerships around the world. I mean, what's the partnerships around the world at centre-half positions? There was some good ones around the world, like Bayern Munich's and...
Oh, look, I mean, some great central defensive partnerships. But, you know, to claim they're the best in the world... when it's very arguable whether they're the best.
I think there could be a little bit of clickbait in there.
Yeah.
I should imagine. Jamie's good at it. He's good at what he does.
Yeah. Well,
Jason's reaction, I can see why he did have that reaction.
Yeah. By the way, Mark has texted in straight away and said, if we're looking at defences, the Palace back three have only conceded 1 goal so far this season. Well, so have Tottenham, by the way. But even so, defensively, Palace, brilliant. Yeah. And Greeno has said, even as a Spurs fan, Jamie's miles off it. I would say Guéhi and Lacroix, Palace are right up there.
Well, I would have been worried if Guéhi went to Liverpool, which was at one stage on the cards. They was trying their best to get probably Guéhi. So Guéhi and Van Dijk, that would be a decent partnership, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Right, we're a bit behind because we were locked in and the producer was locked out and we didn't know quite what we were doing. We never do know what we're doing, really. No. So we're a little bit behind. Now, despite this week marking the return of the Champions League, it's also an important week on the EFL football calendar. It's EFL Youth Development Week, which is well underway with the aim to recognise the unbelievable success of club academies. The EFL's youth development team's made up of a network of dedicated youth development managers. They work closely with club academies to ensure that we continue to provide players with the best opportunities to achieve their full potential. And last season, academy developed players across the league made 265 professional debuts, which is not too shabby, is it? Joining us now is someone who's a big part of the week. It's the Reading manager, Noel Hunt. Morning, Noel.
Morning, Noel.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ray. You okay?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. Look, academy developed players, so particularly as you go down the leagues, are so important, aren't they?
Yeah, huge, massively important. You know, especially with the first-hand experience from the last three and a half years of being here. You know, with the things that have gone on and the turbulent times we had in the past. It's fair to say that the academy players probably kept the club running for long, periods of time. Throughout that time.
No, what sort of ages would you take players now? I mean, I'm just going by Arsenal. I've seen players over there 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. Do you think that's right that they're taking that early? Or, I know you're getting good coaching and all that, but it's still you still want to see them Sunday morning football. I still want to see 100%. The grassroots football, and they're smiling, they're playing with their mates as well. If you're good enough, you can play at 14 with your clubs, but I think Sunday morning football is so important for a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think there's two ways to look at it, Ray. To be fair, I think you're spot on. I think they have to come and enjoy it, and I think they have to be able to go and play with their mates as well. And I think here at the club we do a bit of both. To be fair, they can go and play and enjoy their time with their friends, and they come in and we're so lucky here at this football club that we have academy coaches that understand that, and they come in, they bring it to life, and they make it fun. And it's almost like they come in with their mates every day, And I think it's really important for us to have that factor, that they have that dual type of option in terms of keeping at the club, number one, because, the big clubs are only down the road. You got Chelsea, Brentford, Fulham that are down the road, that are ready to snatch and that are looking and prying around it, especially around their area. So for us, it's really important that we have that catch, that they can come in and feel at home and be a part of it, you know what I mean? And I think for us this year, even this season, out of the 11 players we offered apprentices to, I think 9 of them have been here, or 8, and I think 8 of them have been here since under 9, which is a really big pull for us, that we have that kind of a connection with our young players, that we understand and we take that so seriously,
Yeah. I saw you got an 18-year-old in your back four at the moment, haven't you, Ashkar Ahmed? I don't know if he came through your academy or not, but your academy, it's ranked in the top 10 in the country, isn't it? Is that down to how you pick the kids, or is it what you do with them once you've picked them, do you think, no?
I think it's what we do with them. I think that the coaches we have at this club from the underage groups are really, really special people, and how they see it. They're first in the mornings, they're last out in the evenings, and they come in when they don't have to come in, just to get things organised, and they have that real enthusiasm to improve players and improve these kids and improve them as people. It's a massive thing for us that we have really good, respectful kids, and we give them a good foundation of grounding of the true values of life as well as we go along, and we see that develop throughout the ages, which is fantastic, So for us, it's massively important. I mean, we've obviously Ashkar's come in; he's just turned 18 a little while ago as a right back for us. Last year I had a 17-year-old just turned 17, played 32 out of the 34 games I was involved in. He just turned 17. They're revelations. These kids, they come in, they embrace it, and we got to make sure that, of course, that it's right for them as well, and that we don't overload them or physically put too much demand where they break down on them. So we have to be really careful in how we pick and choose how we play them.
I think education is very important as well, Noel. That they've got something to fall back on, because not everybody can be footballers. Not every kid can get their dream come true. Look, you've got to have a dream. There's no doubt about that. But education, I always say to kids now, make sure your education's good. You make sure you train really hard and do your best you can. But your education, because if you don't make it or it doesn't go your way, then you've always got to have something to fall back on.
100%, 100%. And we keep on relaying this to our kids every day that, it's not just about what they do on the pitch, training, in the gym, out in the match days. It's how you conduct yourself with your schooling, with your education. Are you on time? Are you attentive? Are you paying attention? Are you performing in the classroom as well as on the pitch? It's really important for us that they understand that there's a very low percentage of footballers that make it, and that this is really important for them. I was lucky that I finished school before any football, thoughts really came into my head about being a professional footballer. So I understood it from a different type of point of view. But to educate these boys that it's important that they do that, and it's great because it's been driven from the senior pros down to keep on speaking to our younger ones about making sure you get your schoolwork done, making sure you speak to the teachers. If you're behind, if you're struggling with something, they'll help you. They'll make sure that you get back on track. And it's a massive part of it, right? As you know, they have to have something when they leave this football club for no matter what. They have to have a level of education that they can go out and get themselves into the real world. They have to have a level of understanding of what the real world looks like, and they have to be able to manage themselves in that work environment or in that real life environment. And how you carry yourself every day. We talk about being a 24/7 pro, but also that's about being a 24/7 character as well. Your fundamentals are good. You're respectful. You can hold conversations. You can be open-minded but confident in how you speak and how you relay your opinions. And I think all these things about being respectful are so important to these young people these days. Give them that foundation of looking in the eye, having a conversation. We can't all text these days. We know mobile phones are a massive part of the world, and they ain't going to go anywhere. So it's about how we keep our interactions in them eye to eye, them one-to-one conversations, them group conversations where people can express themselves and not feel vulnerable to it, and having that character to do that.
Just quickly, lost your first 3 league games this season. Do you feel like that the signs are better now that perhaps you've turned a corner?
Yeah. Listen, it's been tough because we speak about how well we've done last season, and I think we had, I think it was 20 academy players involved all last year, and we came together and we rallied, and we had a really good push to the end of the season. But then we lost 15 players throughout from the end of the season to the start of the season, and we had to rebuild and start again and go back from the basics to build it up to where we are now. We see improvements every day. We've seen improvements in the performances. We speak about at the start of the season, we looked like a team of strangers because that's what we were. We'd just be coming together. We'd boys in the door that week. And the cohesion and the togetherness, the bonds, the family vibe we want here is getting stronger and stronger. Then we're going through the period of maybe not creating chances. Now we're starting to create chances. We're starting to score goals. And it's just about now putting it all together and making sure that we're strong at the back as well as being that attacking force going forward.
Good lad, excellent. Noel, thanks for making the time for us.
Good luck, Noel.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Noel Hunt, the Reading manager there. Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Ahead of Liverpool Atletico Madrid tomorrow night live on talkSPORT, the former Liverpool striker Emile Heskey will be along with us in the studio. And we'll be joined by TV legend Paddy McGuinness, who'll be chatting about his beloved Bolton, his new podcast, and his great friend Ricky Hatton.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's Tuesday, September the 16th. I'm just Stelling. Ray Parlour is with me. Thanks to Arnold Clark Charge, we've got some electrifying cash prizes up for grabs on talkSPORT in our EV Lover competition. Along with fully charged amounts of cash to give away, we've also got 3 places up for grabs to take part in our grand final in Glasgow next month, where one lucky winner will get their hands on a fantastic new MG S5 electric car. So get involved. Simply head to talksport.com/win and get your entry in now. And that's all thanks to Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Find out more at arnoldclark.com. Reaction coming into academies. Cardiff fans said, talking of academies, this is Jake, says 3 of the Cardiff back 4 is from the academy. We've also still not conceded a goal from open play in the league this season, and we are 7 games in. And Harry from Halifax says, Bobby Poynton, a Bradford boyhood fan, developed through the academy, broke through in League 2, now tearing it up in League 1, top scorer in League 1 right now. Brilliant to see players like that coming through.
Absolutely, and it's so important for clubs as well to bring players through, because look, not every, they're going to go to bigger things probably if they do really well, but financially for clubs, that academy, if you can get a good player in your team and suddenly he's getting bought for 10, 15 million pounds and whatever it is going to be, that's a massive amount of money for certain clubs to keep them running.
Totally.
So,
totally.
That's how important academies are sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, for the smaller clubs, very expensive to run, but, the benefits could be great. Right, it's time for a bit of this.
Oh, and Wimbledon have moved out. And there's no flag from the linesman. Ray Parlour, his first goal for Arsenal.
One touch, get out his feet, boff. What, nectarine?
Never heard of it.
It's a small, like a little orange.
Is it?
Nectarine.
I don't eat oranges.
Mark Overmars had this little fart machine.
What?
With a button. He goes,
pardon? Who is Gunnosaurus? Who is he to you?
What?
Is he related to you?
No. My brother is married to his daughter, but they're not together now. They've more or less split up.
Do they have an Invincible on Drive? I don't think so.
That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's time now for Yay or Nay, Ray.
Yeah, time to put Ray to the test in a Tuesday special of Yay or Nay with Ray. The rule's simple. If you agree with the statement, you've got to begin your answer with yay. If you disagree, you start with nay. So first up, Ray, after just 4 games of the season, the Opta supercomputer has given Manchester United more chance of being relegated this season, 11%, than finishing in the top 5, 7%. So yay or nay, are United more likely to be relegated than qualify for the Champions League?
Definitely yay. It's got to be. I mean, they're too far behind now already. I mean, you look at the quality at the top of the table to be in the top 5. You've got Newcastle, Spurs, you've got Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. I think it's going to be very difficult. So I can see where they come from. And plus, I think the teams who've got promoted this season, they've had a real good start. A lot of them. I mean, obviously Burnley got their first win against Sunderland. Sunderland have picked points up. Leeds were unlucky not to get another point at the weekend, a really bizarre own goal. So I certainly agree with that. Yay. Okay. Definitely, Jeff.
Tough game for them this weekend as well, at home to Chelsea. Next up, Liverpool have won 4 games to start the season, 4 out of 4 after a big summer spending spree, which is not easy to say. But it did take a last-minute penalty to beat newly promoted Burnley, and many people are saying they're not at their best so far. So yay or nay, Ray? Are Liverpool going to have a better season this season, even than last season?
Well, that's a sign of a good team. If they're not playing up to their standards at the moment and they're getting, picked up every single point. Doesn't matter how you win games of football, Jeff. At the end of the season, no one really analyses every single game and says, oh, there was lucky there, was lucky there. It's all about getting the points on the ball, which they've certainly done at the moment. They're the team to beat. They're certainly favourites to win the Premier League. Are they going to have a better season? I'm going to say yay, but I still think they come second.
Well, that would not be a better season, would it? That would.
Look, to get more points, I mean.
They were brilliant last season. I think you look at Liverpool right now. Yeah, the new boys haven't quite clicked, have they? That's the problem.
And they've lost a lot of goals.
Wirtz hasn't quite clicked, and Frimpong hasn't quite clicked, and Kirkes certainly hasn't quite clicked.
You've got Isak If he can get fit, they're going to spend a couple of weeks getting him fit. If he can do what he did at Newcastle, there's certainly goals there. So they're the ones to beat. But I'm just hoping that this could be the season for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Of course.
The one Liverpool new boy who has impressed so far is Ekateki, who's done
he's been
really well.
Fantastic. Really, really well.
Coming up, we will ask Ray another question. Is this finally the year that Arsenal can win the Champions League? If you want to have your say, 03717 22 3344.
Bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world, and if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it, and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Very good morning to you. It's almost 9:05. Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Still to come between now and 10. We'll be talking to a man with over 630 professional appearances, scoring 130 goals for sides such as Villa, Liverpool and Birmingham, and of course, key part of the England setup for many years, Emil Heskey. I'll be with us very shortly. Not only that, but one of the country's favourite TV stars, Paddy McGuinness, will also be here. Paddy's teamed up with 2 huge ex-football stars for his next project. But now we look ahead to the Champions League in partnership with TNT and ask, is it finally Arsenal's year?
Breakfast football preview on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Get the agony and the ecstasy, the frustration and the elation all in one place. TNT Sports, not normal. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Just move on. Arsenal know that they are done. This is not their night. This is not their season. And they're out of the Champions League. Arsenal have now failed to progress in each of their last 4 major cup semi-finals.
The Premier League title is coming back to Anfield after a 5-year absence.
Will now be questions asked about Mikel Arteta and whether he is the right man to see that job through to those major trophies.
For a while, Arsenal have needed that profile, you know, that out-and-out centre forward, and I think Victor Gyökeres is going to be exactly that.
Arsenal make a move for Eberechi Eze, and the 27-year-old wants to join them.
For me, it's going to be an outstanding signing for Arsenal, and I believe this wins Arsenal the Premier League.
I think it's going to take some effort from anybody to finish above Arsenal with those signings they've made to solve the problems they had last season in terms of not winning the title. It's been a big summer for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, a lot of people think this could be the year as far as Arsenal are concerned. 3 consecutive second-place finishes in the league, Champions League and Domestic Cup semi-finals. They've added strength all over the pitch. Their fans and players certainly starting to believe. Goalkeeper David Raya was talking yesterday on the success the new signings could bring.
The new signings, they have a key role just to improve the squad, to improve the depth. Especially what happened last season with the injuries that we had and the depth. It was a little bit short, and then the club did a magnificent job to recruit a lot of players, really, really good players, and they're going to be a key part of the success of this club.
And we should mention as well, Ray, we obviously we've touched on new players, and we will do it again, but he's an important
he's been
facet,
brilliant,
isn't he, David Ryan?
Well, I thought when they made that big decision, because goalkeepers are massive in any team. You know, we can win the league, and you always need a good goalkeeper if you're going to win the league. The Ramsdale didn't do a lot wrong, when he got left out. But it seems like it's been a really good choice from Arsenal's point of view. I think he's been excellent. I think he's played 100 games now for Arsenal. And the problem is, when you're at Brentford, you're stepping up to Arsenal. No disrespect to Brentford, but it's the pressure gets a lot more fiercer. You can't be letting goals in week out, because suddenly you'll be out of the team. Where probably at Brentford you might get away with it a little bit more. But he's been absolutely brilliant. And as much as I love that Aaron, and he's moved on to Newcastle now, which I'm pleased for. Yeah. He's been a really good signing, David Raya. And you always got to have that understanding. He's good with his feet. We all know that. And that's probably what Mikel wanted from the back. And the back four know him very well now. So he's a massive part. If they're going to be successful this year, the goalkeeper is going to play a big part in that. But the signings they've made, Jeff, obviously I thought could be their season last year. Liverpool were too good in the end, come up short in the Champions League. But they've certainly strengthened in the right areas. It wasn't rocket science. Everybody was looking at a striker. Yorkeres, can he get the goals that they need? He's got 3 already. We look at Haaland, he's got 5 in the Premier League already. So if he can get the goals and he can learn to play with his teammates and make the right runs and get in the right areas and score goals like he has done when he was in Portugal, then they'll have a chance. Have
you seen enough to suggest that he will?
I think he's still learning from certain aspects of the game. I like it. You've got to play to his strengths a little bit more. You've got to roll the ball in. He's strong holding the ball up. People play off him. And he's got to learn when the ball's going to go into the box to make the right runs. And as I said before, I was with Alan Shearer at the weekend, who's arguably one of the best strikers ever to play in the Premier League. In first half, he probably wasn't making the right runs into the areas. And Alan highlighted it at half-time. And then second half, obviously, but they got the early goal. Great ball over the top as a first-time pass. And that's where you can make your runs, when you know it's going to come in a certain end. Where they have another touch is really hard for strikers to make their runs, and that's what he's got to learn to understand who he's playing against. With.
Yeah, well, Troy Deeney, he's not having him at the moment. He says that Gyökeres will be outscored by fellow Premier League strikers.
I think he's good. I think he scores enough goals, but I don't think he scores enough goals to beat Haaland, to beat Salah or Eze. I don't think, for what Arsenal need to go over the top, I don't think he scores more than João Pedro over the course of the year.
Well, we'll see.
Well, that's a blinding statement, by the way, because João Pedro is a good player. Not an out-and-out goal scorer, not an out-and-out striker. I mean, he got 10 league goals last season, 9 the season before that. And if Gyökeres doesn't get more than that, I will be staggered.
I can see him getting more of that. But you're talking about top strikers there. Salah, he's always going to be scoring goals. Haaland, as we mentioned, he's had 5 goals already. He had his injury problems last year. But look, if he can get near to Salah and Haaland and players of that calibre, then it certainly gives Arsenal a lot more chance of winning a trophy. Yeah. And that's what they've got to do. Look, we don't know in football. We've had lots of injuries already to different sort of players in different teams. So you've got to try and keep him fit. That's the most important thing, to get him on the pitch every single week. But if you can do that, I'm sure he will banging goals. And he'll get confidence from scoring goals. And that's why I was pleased he's got his goal at the weekend. Got a couple against Leeds, so he scored 3 at home already. Now, look, there's another test tonight. I'm sure he'll start tonight. And see if he can get on the score sheet, and that will give him confidence for the weekend. Weekend's a tough game. Obviously, Man City coming off that good win against United. Now, that's when you've got to step up if you're a top striker.
But he scored goals in Europe. I think he's made a really respectable start there. Yeah. You know, he's got goals on the board. And
there's a lot of pressure on him as well, because everybody's going, we need a number 9, we need a number 9. Now they've got the number 9. He's a little bit of pressure on him to bang goals in. So I'm pleased he's got off to a decent start. Can get better. Of course he can get better. And let's hope he can, if you're an Arsenal supporter.
I mean, and those signings, you know, not just Gyökeres, they've hit the ground running, haven't they?
Yeah,
Mendy's had a wonderful start. Madueke had a fantastic start. Mosquera, who couldn't have expected a chance yet, but he's slotted in like he was an absolute natural.
Well, what he's done really well, Mikel Arteta, he's highlighted what he needed, and he's gone out and tried to get the best he could. He's got a couple of youngsters there going to learn off Gabriel. Mosquera, who's come in. Obviously a tough debut, Liverpool away, to come on, but he looked okay. He looked not too out of place and done really well. Madueke's now a lease of life for him coming to Arsenal. You've got Eze, who's brilliant player. We all know what he can do on his day. So they bought really well, and so there's no complaints from the manager to say we haven't been backed. But now it's now getting the right formation and the right personnel on the pitch every single week, whether it's going to be rotating here and there, and getting results. And that's what it all comes down to, Jeff, getting results.
Neil in Cheltenham's pointed, he said, look, Jeff, do me a favour. Frimpong's only started one game. I mentioned that not all Liverpool signings have hit the ground running. He got injured in that one, hasn't started since. So it's a bit harsh to say,
he's a good
least
player,
give the guy a chance. Yeah, absolutely. What I mean to say, realistically, maybe I phrased it badly, is that at the moment, Liverpool's new signings haven't made the impact, for whatever reason, that they would have hoped, whereas Arsenal's are making the impact that Mikel Arteta would have.
You can argue that they're sitting on 12 points though, and Arsenal on 9. So
because they had a fantastic squad, and have a fantastic squad.
And if you look at Liverpool, and we could argue they haven't played to their best of their abilities at the moment, but they're still top of the league and not dropped a point yet. Yeah. So that worry you a little bit if you're an Arsenal fan, because when they do kick into gear, what could happen then? Get everybody fit and everybody gets used to playing with each other. So it's going to be a great season.
I totally agree. I mean, look, I tipped Liverpool to win the title last season. I've tipped them to win the title again this season. So I'm pleased that they've got 12 points on the scoreboard. We're not playing yay or nay, but we will do right now. So will Arsenal win the Champions League, Ray? Yay or nay?
I'm not going to say nay, because I think there was a little bit unlucky.
There's already two options. So
well, I'm going to go yay then, because I'm not going to say they ain't going to win it, because they've got an excellent chance. But it's such a competitive league. We saw John Hills on earlier for Coral. And that's how close it is. 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 7-1. So, they're pretty decent bets to have to get to the latter stages. But again, you need a bit of luck. You need the right players fit at the right stages of the tournament. But I'm sure they've learned a lot from last year, and they can hopefully get to the final and see what happens.
Yeah. So that's Arsenal and their title chances. We'll talk more about Liverpool shortly. They face Atletico tomorrow. It's live on talkSPORT, and don't forget, stream over 185 UEFA Champions League matches live with TNT Sports on Discovery Plus, or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. That Liverpool focus is next.
Breakfast football preview on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Get the agony and the ecstasy, the frustration and the elation all in one place. TNT Sports, not normal. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
to almost 20 past 9. It is Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ray Parlour is with me for the next 40 minutes or so. Now, it's been quite a start to the Premier League season for the champions Liverpool. 4 wins out of 4. Tomorrow night, they're back in Champions League action, live on talkSPORT, perhaps with a certain new striker appearing.
Going to pull the trigger now and finds the bottom corner. Alexander Isak.
Don't expect him to be every single game 90 minutes on the pitch. That's definitely not going to happen in the upcoming week.
Isak, Ekitike and Salah. Honestly, it's going to be frightening. Watch Liverpool.
We've got a Champions League coming up as well. Ease him in there. Probably ease him in one more game and then expect to start him 2 weeks from now.
Liverpool 2, Atletico Madrid 3. So Liverpool's defence of their European crown ends.
We know Atleti have had great times at Anfield. Atleti are not the Atletico of previous incarnations.
Yeah, that's right. Are we about to see Alexander Isak in a Liverpool shirt for the first time after his move from Newcastle? He missed out on that trip to Turf Moor, needed a full week under his belt, according to Arne Slot. But maybe, just maybe, we'll get a glimpse of him against Atletico Madrid. So from one Liverpool striker to a former Liverpool striker, it's a great pleasure to say good morning to Emil Heskey. Morning, Emil.
Morning, Emil.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Look, we'll get into the football in a moment, but first of all, Freshers Week, or as it is in a lot of cases these days, Freshers Fortnight, is getting underway. You launched a new student safety app regarding student safety on university campuses. Now, I know as a dad, and a couple of my kids have been to uni, and one is still there now, how important student safety is. So tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, it was born out of a family friend coming and his daughter going to university, and obviously when they leave the house and spread their wings, you kind of feel a little bit worried for them. So this was born out of that, and the research from the student safety app shows that one in 3 felt unsafe in and around the city and on campus. So this safety app was born out of that.
And a lot of them are going to uni, big unis, and the kids even at that age, they can be a little naive sometimes, can't they?
I think that's the thing. So I think this was why it was born out of that. You can keep each other safe. The app, you can go and download the app and you can just register. And then, universities can get involved as well, where you're helping each other. It's a community. Anything that's going on on and around the campus and the city, you can then make each other aware of what's going on. I think 1 in 4 students. This is from the research from the student safety app. 1 in 4 have said that they've experienced harassment, theft, assault. So, I think this is a great app that could help keep everyone safe.
Well, I'll tell you what, Emil, Liverpool, great city. It's a great university city as well. I think there are 3 universities in the city, so it's absolutely fantastic. There'll be a few students, well, those that can afford it anyway, at the Champions League game tomorrow night. Do you think we'll get a glimpse of Alexander Isak?
I hope we do. A lot was made of it, him coming, etc., and it was a long, drawn-out procedure, but I hope we do get to see him. We all know what he's about. We've seen him now for a while now, so it'd be nice to see him donning that red shirt and scoring goals.
Ekitike, I think that's how you say it, Jeff. I'm sure it is. He's really hit the ground running, isn't he, Emil? I mean, he's come in, he looked really good pre-season, and now, when he looks a dangerous player when he plays, and he's very exciting as well. So if Isak isn't available yet, then he can do a great job for Liverpool and be brilliant if they could play him together. Who knows? But if you've got Salah on one side, Ekitike in one, and maybe Isak, it could be a deadly strike force.
Yeah, I think one step at a time with the 4-4-2. I think we're not quite back there. But no, it'd be great to see them both up front, to be honest with you. I think Ekitike is, like you're saying, hit the ground running. It's not easy for a young lad to come from another country and to really hit that ground running. He's shown that he's able to do that. He's giving you something different. Runs the channel. He's never just staying up front. He's never that focal point up front. He's drifting all over the place. And Isak we know what he's capable of doing. He's a dribbler. He runs in behind. He's got a fantastic shot. He can be the hold-up player if needs be. That front three, and then you're adding in Gakpo and players like that. It's looking frightening at the minute.
Yeah. How encouraged are you, Emil, that Liverpool have won 4 out of 4 in the league without really hitting the heights so far? I mean, I mentioned earlier on, Fabian Wirtz has not really made the impact hoped for so far. Kirkers was subbed in the first half. Even Mo hasn't been at his best so far, has he?
But they've still got 4 out of 4, so that shows that they're showing champion form in the sense of you're winning when it's not great and when it's ugly. And that's the times when you got to dig deep. Some people might say it's lucky at times, but they're still winning, and that's the main thing. You know, they just got to go out there and win games. And then we just see, and then obviously when you see Mo coming back into it a bit more, yes, he's had quiet games up to now, but when he's on fire, everyone knows what he's capable of doing.
Just a quick one. We haven't spoke to you for the England game. What a great performance against Serbia, wasn't it, Emil? And I know you've been in some magnificent games. I think you was in that Germany game, wasn't you? When you beat them 5-1. That was an amazing. But to go to Serbia and win, Tuchel must be delighted with that and looking forward to that World Cup.
Do you know what I think he's more delighted with? He's delighted with people just letting the reins go. For a long time, England players, you're seeing that they're not giving you the same enthusiasm and the same performances that they see at the clubs. It seemed like they just let all the reins go and they could go and express themselves. And that's one of the main things. You've seen some fantastic players. I think a lot of pundits have been talking about it, how we've won the Euros several times under 21s. We've won a few years back. We won the World Cup on the 17s, and now your Phil Fodens and them are showing. Obviously, he's not in the squad at the minute, but you see players like that coming through. So you got to allow them to express themselves, and they're showing that now.
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance. Brilliant week to be a Liverpool fan as well, by the way. Atletico, and then, of course, the derby at the weekend.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Emil, thank you very much indeed. Good luck with that student safety app.
Cheers, Emil.
It's a really essential piece of kit, really.
Thank you very much.
Emil Hesketh from
I forgot about
Liverpool and Leicester.
The derby of the weekend. We're talking about derbies. It's Everton weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they used to call it the friendly derby, but I think that's long gone, don't you?
I'm so pleased Jack Grealish is now, got an opportunity to play week in, week out, and hopefully he can get that form back. And maybe he's still got a chance to push him into that England squad.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Oh, yeah, I think no question about it.
And I've not been... Have you been to the new... I've not been.
Haven't.
Oh, it looks brilliant.
I haven't. My son's a Brighton fan. He went to the first Everton home Premier League game because, of course, obviously it was against Brighton.
What was his reaction?
He loved we didn't love the game, but he loved the stadium. Said it was absolutely fantastic. But of course, this one, I think Liverpool are at home. This one, aren't they?
I think they are.
Yeah. Always worth looking forward to. Again, it tends to be one of those derbies that it's all about the atmosphere. It's all about the up and at 'em rather than pure football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see some cracking Merseyside derbies over the years. Steven Gerrard scoring late goals and Duncan Ferguson scoring at the Anfield. But I always get a picture of the Kop when they used to swirl around and there'd be blue in the Kop.
Yeah.
People with blue shirts on and amazing. And so many probably families are split in Merseyside.
So many families divided.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Don't forget, before that, of course, you can hear live commentary on Liverpool against Atletico Madrid tomorrow evening on talkSPORT. Kickoff is at 8. Coming up, we're joined by a TV star, huge Bolton fan as well, by the way. Paddy McGuinness is with us next.
get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Good morning, almost 9:35, Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour and Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Now, I'm delighted to say we're about to be joined by comedian, actor, host of the legendary dating show Take Me Out. Paddy McGuinness is along in a second. The show, just to remind you, sees one single man head onto the stage in the hopes that one of 30 women will like them enough to go on a date. So we thought we'd give Gabby Agbonlahor the chance to woo the ladies and send him down to the show. Here's how it went.
Each girl has a light in front of them. If they like what they see, they keep the lights turned on. If they don't like what they see, they turn them off. No like it, no like it. If there are no lights left on, it's a blackout. OK, shall we get ready? It's time to unleash our first boy of the night. Single man, reveal yourself.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm 38 and I'm from Birmingham. I recently lost a record I held. So if you want to be my record breaker, then I'm the guy for you.
Whoa! Girls, are you turned on or turned off?
No.
Whoa!
Are you joking?
25 girls have turned the lights off. Sonia, why did you turn off?
I can't stand it when a man pays more attention to football than his lady.
I've recently got into paddle, but you won't find any double faults from me in the bedroom.
Girls, are you turned on or turned off?
I'm having it.
Hashtag Ox. Oh dear.
Shut up and get on with it.
It's a blackout.
The feeling's like, wow. I'm a hot guy, Al. You know what I mean?
So definitely no likey for Gabby. Let's find out what the former host of the show thinks. He's making the back pages with his podcast with Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. It's a very good morning to Paddy McGuinness. Morning, Paddy.
Morning, Paddy.
Morning, lads. Are you okay?
Yeah, good. Hey, I haven't seen you, mate, since the days in Manchester when I was recording Countdown at the same as you were recording Take Me Out. And I'd pop out of my dressing room and there'd be a row of 30 girls standing outside. But none of them were for me, Paddy. They're all for you.
I do miss the smell of Lambrini and hairspray. It used to fill my nostrils, but I just want to thank your producers for knocking that little bit together there. That was a work of genius. I enjoyed listening to Gabby there.
You're certainly, Paddy. You certainly be scared if you're coming down that lift with all them women going now. You've got to try and impress them.
When I used to do the show, I'd rehearse with the lads during the day, and you get some really confident lads on there, really good looking. But as soon as they came out that lift and all the girls were there and the lights were on, they crumbled. So I kind of,
yes, I did.
I had to put my arm around the shoulder and what have you. But you know what? We had a Cammy on. Cammy came on a celebrity version.
Did he?
Yeah. He was brilliant on it. He got a date as well, which amazes me.
Yeah. I'd love to know what his wife thought about that.
I was going to say, he's got a good divorce lawyer.
Yeah. Brilliant.
He said that in his questions. He said that. Said something about, I hope you don't mind if my wife tags along on the day.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, Cammy's a great lad. And talking about good lads, you've got a podcast up and running with a couple of good lads as well, Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. And I tell you what, it's already making a few headlines, Paddy.
Do you know, Jeff, you know, obviously Ray's played the game, at the highest level. But for people like us, I think if you're a football fan, to be involved in anything at all where you get to talk about football, the good and bad sides of it, especially with people like Scholesy and Butty, for me, it's a buzzman's holiday. I absolutely love it. We did our first one on Monday, and it's out every Monday at 6 o'clock. But I loved it. I was a little bit nervous, because of the careers they've had, and I'm just there as a fan asking them questions, But I loved it.
Well, you're certainly coming from a great era, wouldn't they? You can't pick better players. I mean, in that era, that midfield especially, Paddy. I mean, Scholesy, Giggsy. You have Roy Keane, David Beckham, Nicky Butt, as you mentioned there. They've seen Man United. They know what Man United, how it ticks. And at the moment, I'm sure they've got a little bit of, Almerin saying about changing systems and all that. And, I'm sure lots of Man United fans will be agreeing with, obviously, Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes.
Yeah, they don't hold back, Paddy, do they?
No, they don't. So, and obviously, we know the United men through and through. But I didn't realise how much they were, because before we started doing the podcast, obviously I thought, what a one to start on the Manchester derby.
Yeah.
And they weren't best pleased about that. But I even saw Paul Scholes refuse to drink out of a blue cup for his coffee. He went, I'm not having that. So we had to move that before we started. I thought, wow, these lads really, really happy feel it, But that era as well, your era, it's kind of, there were some real characters in the game, and I like that. I quite like naughty players back in the day who just had a bit of an edge to them. So sort of we reflect on those times as well as looking at the modern game as well and how that's changed.
Yeah. I mean, you're a Bolton fan yourself, aren't you, Paddy? Do you go back as far as Big Sam and the glory days of JJ Kocher and people like
Djorkaeff,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm lucky in a sense that kind of my formative years was that period. You know what I mean? With JJ and what have you. And let's not forget SKD, Super Kevin Davis. But I kind of got to see all that, the glory years and what have you. And strangely, it shows you how crazy football is at the minute, how quickly a club with a few sort of wrong signings and a few wrong decisions, how quickly they can drop. I mean, we were days away from going into administration. So thankfully, the new owners and the way it's gone, and we've got a bit of stability now, and Schumacher's just come in, it kind of feels like, right, okay, we can start pushing on again now.
Yeah. I think you'll do a good job there, to be honest, Paddy. I really do, you know. Look, a couple of other things. I know you announced yesterday you're going to be presenting Children in Need this year, so you won't have to get out and on your bike again.
Yeah, yeah. It was, I think, 300 odd miles on a child's bike is enough for enough for anyone. But it was, I say this, it's funny calling it a challenge because honestly, it was a proper privilege. There were that many people came out. I started off in Wrexham, and we worked my way up through Wales into England, all the way up through England, and we finished in the mighty Glasgow. And I don't think there was any stretches of road where there weren't any people out. It was for me, it was one of them moments in time I'll take with me to my grave. Really, it was a real privilege to be a part of that.
Yeah, sorry, Ro, just got a text on exactly that from a guy called Chris in Wrexham, who said, can you remind Paddy about the time he started his cycle ride 100 yards from my house at the racecourse in Wrexham? When I was arriving at work, I apologised for being late by saying, sorry I'm late. Paddy McGuinness was blocking the road, and they all thought I was making it up.
It was, he, when I started in Wrexham, I was still fresh there, but by the time I got to Glasgow, my backside looked like a sheet of bubble wrap.
Paddy, I've got to ask you about Peter Kay, because I go back to that era when I was watching Phoenix Nights, and for me, that is one of the best programmes I've ever seen. And you must have loved. How long did it take you to film one of them? Because I would have kept laughing. You know, when you were going through the acts, and when the funfair was there, and some of the scenes were so funny that you must have been laughing yourselves.
Yeah, well, I think that the trickiest thing about Phoenix Nights and Max and Paddy when we did it is was that. But what was lovely about that period of time is none of us were kind of professional actors, or we'd never done anything like that. So we were all new to it. We were all kind of a bit green behind the gills. And it was just one of those, weirdly, in the moment, we had some great times and good laughs and going out for beers and everything else that comes with it. But it's only now, all the years later, when I look back and reflect, and I think, oh, that was a really good time. That. But when you're young and you're in the moment, it's a bit like when when you've been playing Premier League football or whatever. You kind of, those moments, you're just in them, and you don't really take them in when you're young.
Paddy, before we go, we should mention Ricky Hatton, because I know Ricky was a friend of yours. It was an unbelievable shock for everyone.
Absolutely. I was in the middle of me radio show when my mate messaged me just towards the end, and just look, it's a message you never ever expect to get or think you're going to get. But I think the biggest compliment, and probably everyone said it about Ricky, he was a proper man of the people. What I loved about him is, I went out to watch him in Vegas when he boxed Mayweather, and I couldn't believe how he was with my mates. Do you know what I mean? Because at the time he's world champion. He had like he's knocking about with like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Beckham, and how he was with my mates. And even when they saw him, when they weren't even with me, my mates said they bumped into him at an airport. He still had time for them, still said hello, and that was the kind of guy he was. That's why he was just loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive loss.
So sad.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but a proper man of the people,
absolutely.
and a champion to boot. Paddy, thank you very much indeed. Good luck with the good,
Cheers, Paddy.
the bad, and the football.
Great seeing you, lads. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. Thanks, Paddy. TV actor, comedian, Bolton superfan Paddy McGuinness there. Up next, we turn our attention to Villa. They've not scored a league goal yet, but how important is the League Cup to Villa fans? We'll discuss that next. Good morning, it is 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock, Tuesday, September the 16th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling, Ray Parlour with me. The countdown is on. This is your chance to win 25 grand and tickets to see Oasis at Wembley on Saturday, the 27th of September. This Friday, we'll be calling 2 lucky listeners on air. They will go head-to-head for that cash. Both will get tickets. Only one will walk away with £25,000. Listen up. Here's how you can enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And the very best of luck to you. I should tell you, by the way, as well, Ray, when I was doing Countdown and Paddy was there with his 30 girls to take me out, we were also used to record at the same time as the Jeremy Kyle show up there. And it was amazing because rehearsals would start at pretty much exactly the same time. And there would be 2 queues to get into the studio. And one would be full of Countdown viewers who tended to be elderly ladies.
Yeah.
And the other would be guests on the Jeremy Kyle show who tended not to be elderly ladies. And I'll tell you what, when the elderly ladies in the show, the queue for Countdown, saw the people waiting to go into the Jeremy Kyle show, they gripped their handbags all the tighter. Yeah,
that was brilliant.
They were great days. As are these, of course. Now, amidst all the Champions League action, let's not forget the EFL Cup is back. Villa head to Brentford live on talkSPORT 2. There's a cracking South London derby between Crystal Palace and Millwall, and Sheffield Wednesday welcome Grimsby to Hillsborough. Grimsby, favourites to beat Sheffield Wednesday on their own patch. Brentford, of course, Ollie Watkins' old stamping ground. He tends to do well against his former club. Goodness me. Villa could do with him doing well because they're still looking for their first goal of the season. Have you been surprised by how much they've struggled?
Yeah, I have. I mean, they've lost a couple of players, we know that, but you've still got Ollie Watkins, you've still got some excellent players. Rodgers in behind, McGinn is still there. So I have been, and it's a little bit worrying, but I'm sure they're again, once they get that first goal, I'm sure they'll be fine. I think Emery will put a really strong team out. I think the supporters want a good cup run, if you're being realistic. You know, I think Villa were brilliant last year. They got into that Champions League, which is magnificent, which is great for the club. But the cup run is very, very important. I think Brentford will be the same, though. I think Brentford, Keith Andrews will look at it and say, look, we want to put a strong side out. We want to get to the latter stages of this competition. We've got every chance. We know the bigger teams might rest players in certain games and in certain league cup games. So it might give us an opportunity to get to the latter stage and get to Wembley. And it's great when you get to Wembley from the fans' point of view. You ask the Palace fans, I know it's a different competition last year, but Palace fans are not used to getting to Wembley. They had a ball and they beat Man City, and Brentford, I'm sure, will be the same, and Aston Villa will be the same.
Yeah.
So I think they've put strong teams out, and Palace as well.
Yeah.
Palace have had that little scent of getting to a final and winning a trophy, and they want more now. And I'm sure they'll put a strong team against Millwall as well.
Yeah, a big night for all of them in many respects. So Villa, though, you know, they really need to break their duck, don't they? And Ollie Watkins just having a bit of a hard time. Former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino says he's worried for the Villa front man.
What he achieved at Villa in the time before this issue came about was extraordinary. It was one of the main reasons they got to the Champions League, was his goal scoring. And his head got turned okay. There was interest from Arsenal, but he also didn't get the loyalty from his club, from his manager. Ollie probably felt, I'm not really wanted, or I'm not as necessary as I once was. And some people say, just get on with it. It hasn't worked out. You haven't had your move. Just get on with it now. Show us what you can do. But now he's in a way, Bailey's left the football club. There is not the same weapons for Ollie to get goals on a regular basis.
But it's still a massive year for him, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I always say World Cup big tournament years like Euros, World Cup, there's a real opportunity. You can start banging the goals in. You know, you'll be going on that plane. You probably will be going on that plane to
You think he's still second choice behind Harry Kane?
I think there's other players now pushing. I mean, I don't know the Ivan Toney situation, whether what he's doing in Saudi Arabia. Again, he gets unnoticed really now. I don't know what his form's going to be like going into it, but. If you have a good, it's like Jack Grealish. That's why he had to move, because you know he needs to play on a regular basis if he's going to have any chance of being in that England squad. And Ollie, look, I'm sure when he does get his first goal, which is not too far away, I'm sure that he will start getting that confidence back and belief. But I think Cass is right. I mean, he's lost a few weapons who can give him opportunities, and that it's all about service. If you're a front man, I know he's a willing runner and he runs in behind. But as a player, if you don't get your move, he looked like he was going to move. But if you don't get your move, I'm sure he's going to be 100% behind Aston Villa, trying to do the best he can for his career and to get in that England squad.
And I think you're spot on. Look, Ollie's wholehearted body.
Yeah, of course
he gives his lot. I know he was upset when he was left out against PSG last year in the Champions League, but he gives his all. But you know, the truth of the matter, they're just not creating. They had one shot on target in the last Premier League.
He's worrying because, you know, after 4 games, you'd expect it. At least they've got a couple of points. And again, it's you can argue it ain't a bad point away from home against Everton because of the new stadium and the bounce they've had playing there. But you know, you do need to start scoring goals and creating chances for your striker. And, you know, to have one shot on target is pretty poor. But look, I think they will put a strong team out tonight and try and get a couple of goals. And sometimes that can give the confidence to the whole team. If you can get a couple of goals, good win tonight at Aston Villa, and Brentford will be the same. If they can get a good win, it sets their season up, and I think Villa won't have no problems. I don't think they're going to achieve what they did last year. I think they overachieved. There's no doubt about that. But they still want a strong season.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they've got Europa League football.
Yeah, of course.
As well, and we know how good Unai Emery is in the Europa League. That is for sure. All right, that's it for me for this week. Don't worry, Ray. We've heard how much you missed Alan when you were at a festival in Chelmsford a couple of weeks ago.
We did indeed.
Yeah, he's back tomorrow from 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Where is I love Brazil? I love Brazil. Where is I love Brazil? I love Brazil. Where is I love Brazil? I love Brazil. Well, Ronnie Avani's fault that was. See, Ronnie's in the background there.
Hey, look, it was 12:30 after all.
He was having a good time. That was a really good day, that was. It was fantastic. You can see the crowd there, Jeff. It's a massive crowd there. Chelmsford Racecourse, and who was Van Helden? Armin Van Helden was the DJ. So it was a really good afternoon and good evening. Barry Hearn was there as well, and the Romford Ball, Johnny Fisher. So we had a great afternoon.
Ray, you didn't need to tell us you had a great afternoon. We could see.
We could see
you had a great afternoon. Ray, loved your company. Thanks very much.
Lovely, Jeff.
Indeed,
have a good week, mate.
Big Al's back tomorrow, of course, the breakfast show with Gabby, and Ray is back on Friday. Bye-bye from me.
Well, I'm a hot guy, Al. Do you know what I mean?